Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
How disturbing is it?
Very.
Very,
I like that,
very.
We're very disturbed.
I like that stormtrooper helmet that's kind of smoky.
The what?
And the
Oh,
stormtrooper helmet.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to my intro. So I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, that's just really cheap. I need to do a new intro for because that's the same intro I use on my videos and stuff. I need to do a new one. That's when I decided to start making videos, I threw one together really quickly, and I've never done another one. So
I need to do it. It reminds me, I'll do an intro video for our new one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I need to come up with something. I've just been fucking lazy and haven't done it because I gotta like come up with an idea and all that shit and try and come up with like, oh, I don't want it to do. I mean, that one's like such nice and simple, you know. Yeah. Very similar to what I use on my other channel, which is why I was able to throw that one together really, really quick. And the other one, the one I've been using on my other channel, I've been using for 10 years. And I've had it for so long. It's like now it's to the point to where even though it's not great, like I just keep using it because like
Nostalgia.
everybody's used to it. It's the one I've been using for 10 years on my other channel. So yeah, I don't know. I want to come up with something different for the Geek Fusion channel, though. I just don't have. I don't know. I haven't thought of anything yet. So anyway, welcome to Week in Geek, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys have a great weekend already, and the rest of the weekend hopefully as well. Unless you work, in which case, no,
to be you.
That's mean. I'm just kidding. No, it's fine. It's fine. Hopefully you guys had a good Saturday. I had a pretty lazy Saturday. I didn't do anything. I didn't leave the house. I slept in until about 11:45 today, which was great. Woke up, watched some videos. The first thing I do when I wake up on Saturday mornings, if I get a chance to sleep in, I wake up. If it's after like 11 o'clock, first thing I do, I go to YouTube and I see if Whoosh has posted his video yet. And I watch whatever his weekly, whatever he, like, here's the new shit. I mean, to be honest, like, everything he puts in his videos, like, by the time he puts a video out on Saturday, I've seen it all. But I still like watching it anyway. I like Robo. Yeah. He just seems like a nice dude, and he's funny, and I like Robo. I like watching his video, even though, like, the video I watched today, there was nothing in that video I hadn't already seen this week, posted all over the interwebs. Yep. But I still like watching the video. So that's the first thing I did today. And then I finished watching a show that I've been binge watching, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. And then me and my wife made bacon burgers for dinner. And now we're here. That's my whole day, people. That's it. So it's been great. I did get some stuff in the mail, which we will look at a little bit later today. But yeah, we're here. We're going to talk about some geek stuff, see what's going on in the world. I first think we must talk about the new Ahsoka show. They dropped the first 2 episodes this Wednesday, and I watched them as a pretty big fan of Mandalorian. And a big fan of Dave Filoni, and a huge fan of Star Wars Rebels. This was a show I was looking forward to. So I'll be honest, my hopes were pretty high. I gotta state that first. My hopes were pretty high for this show. Because, seeing this as the way it was advertised, which is a continuation of Rebels, that was my hopes. Love Star Wars Rebels. If nobody's ever seen it, fantastic Star Wars show. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's the best Star Wars show we've ever gotten, live action or animated. My opinion, you may not agree. That's fine, whatever. My opinion, it's the greatest Star Wars show we've ever gotten. Maybe one of the greatest Star Wars things we've ever gotten. I think it is. I'm not saying it's like better than Rogue One or Empire Strikes Back, but like it's one of the greatest things. Star Wars Rebels was one of the greatest Star Wars things we've ever gotten. It's beautifully done. It's fantastic. 4-season arc of these great characters at like what I think is the best time for Star Wars stories, which is during the rebellion against the Empire. I think that's where we get our best stories from Star Wars is during that period of time. So
Was Rebels animated?
Yeah, Rebels was animated.
Yeah.
And so I had high hopes for this show. So I will admit that. And granted, it's only 2 episodes. So what can you really tell from 2 episodes? I don't know. Now, they were meaty episodes. These were not like The Mandalorian. The first episode is an hour. The second episode is like 47 minutes long. So they're meaty episodes. And I will say, with all that being said, high expectations, huge fan of Rebels. This was advertised as a continuation to Rebels. When I watched it, I was very pleasantly surprised. It was fucking great.
I just knew you were going to say you were let down.
It was
That's
really
what I was thinking too. I was thinking you didn't like it, and it's like, no, man, it was great.
No, it was great. It was absolutely a continuation to Rebels.
I heard you were talking about Star Wars.
Yes, I am, Mr. Night Strike. Oh, holiest of thou.
Yes.
And I like that girl
Strikes
they
at
got to
night.
play Sabine.
Yeah, and I was actually very against anybody playing Sabine except the actress who did the voice work, because of the fact that like I think she looks enough like Sabine, and she's only like in her mid-30s. I think she could have played it, and I know that actress from other things, not just Rebels, but like her being an actual like, you know, in front of the camera actress. I thought she should have been the actress that played it. That being said, the girl they got to play Sabine, who I don't know who she is. I'm not sure if I've ever seen her in anything before. She did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wasn't disappointed at all. And that was with me going into it thinking I was going to be very disappointed with her. She did a good job of Sabine. I had no issues with it. Do I think the other girl, and I'm blanking on that actress's name, but do I think she would have done better? Huh?
Yes.
What was she in
better
prior?
She's been in a bunch of stuff. Did you ever watch the show The Good Place?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's something. She is primarily a voice actress, but if you saw her, you'd recognize her from things because she's been in a lot of shows. She's even been in a couple of movies.
Okay.
So anyway, let me pull her up here. And I think
You know, I've looked her up, but I couldn't remember what her name is either.
yeah. I still think she would have been the best choice to play Sabine because she did the voice, and she's, as far as I'm concerned, a legitimate. She's a good actress, and I think Sabine being an animated character, who's, I mean, honestly, if you watch the show, I mean, she's vaguely kind of, you know, like you don't know like what ethnicity Sabine is supposed to be, right? You know what I mean? She's just kind of vaguely.
She's
whatever.
Mandalorian. That's it.
Yeah, she's Mandalorian. You don't really like know what she is or anything like that. So, this actress.
I'm kind of curious to why she wasn't chosen then, if she's been the voice.
I don't know, but it's this chick right here who did the voice of Sabine.
Okay, yeah, I know her. I've
Yeah,
seen
she's
her.
been in a bunch of stuff. I can't
Yeah.
remember her name. She's been in a bunch of stuff. I think she should have played Sabine, honestly. I think she would have done well. I mean, she's an Indian actress, but like again, Sabine was kind of like you didn't know if was she white?
Oh, it's the demon that played the other Eleanor.
Yeah, exactly. Is she from The Good Place? That's the thing I know her the most from because she did several episodes of that show. Anyway, I thought she would have done a great job. But again, that being said, Dick that did Sabine was great. Did a good job. Ahsoka was good. I mean, this is the most we've seen her in anything. I mean, she's been in a couple episodes of The Mandalorian, and that's really it to this point. Rosario Dawson did a good job there. What's her name? Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Hera.
I thought that was good.
I thought she did a good job. We didn't get a whole lot of her in the episodes. We get a little bit, you know, but it was good.
But you know what we also got?
We got Home One.
We got Chopper.
We got Chopper.
Exactly.
I love the interaction with Chopper. How Hera was arguing with Chopper was just like great.
It was great.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. It was we got Chopper, we got the Phantom, we haven't seen the Ghost yet.
we saw the ghost shuttle ship.
Yeah, we saw that's the Phantom.
Yeah.
We've seen the Phantom. We haven't seen the Ghost yet. We saw Home One. Remember when they walked into that big conference room? It's the same one from Return of the Jedi when they're figuring out what they're going to do to take down the second Death Star. When they had that big meeting with Mon Mothma and everything, we got that whole big room again on Home One. It was really good, dude. Like it really, really was. It just felt like good classic Star Wars, and the story. I've heard some people kind of iffy about the whole going to. I'm going to spoil a few things here, but it's the first 2 episodes. Okay, so
I mean, if you haven't watched the first 2 episodes,
it's not like I'm not spoiling the season finale. But I mean, part of the thing is they're looking, and I think most people know this. They're looking for Thrawn and secondarily Ezra. The bad guys are just looking for Thrawn. Obviously, Sabine and Ahsoka are looking for Ezra as well, and they think they found him in this other galaxy, which seems to be the place where what do they call them? The Purgle or whatever.
The Purgles, the Purgles. Basically, space whales.
Space whales. We'll call them space whales. Where they took them at the end of Rebels. So I've heard some people online getting real nitpicky about well, in Star Wars, there's supposed to be a great barrier around the galaxy that nobody can leave, so that doesn't make
there's not.
sense. I'm just like, okay, well, first of all,
if that was true, then how did the Yuzong Vaughn get in?
Exactly. And not only that, but there's several books about times when the Jedi would leave the galaxy to go do things farther than the outer rim and outer reaches and all this other shit.
In the unknown regions.
Fucking galaxy. So, I get there's been some shit in Star Wars that makes it seem like there is this barrier, but there's also a lot of shit in Star Wars that absolutely proves you can leave the fucking galaxy.
Well, Matt, supposedly the only way really to leave the galaxy is to go through the entry exit in the unknown regions. And the unknown regions is like the northwestern part of the Star Wars galaxy.
Well,
it hasn't been explored yet. And
it's just the place where they know there is a way to leave, come and go. There are multiple other places where the quote unquote barrier is thin enough where people have left before.
Yeah.
There's been multiple. I'm trying not to get too Star Wars geeky here, but fuck it, this is Week in Geek. There have been multiple books and comic books and other lore where criminals and smugglers and things like that have found thin spots on the exterior of the galaxy where they've used those to escape from, the Empire or the Republic or whoever was chasing them.
Even in old legends where they go back to the old Republic days, they even had Sith worlds that were at the fringes of known space.
Yes.
So, there's probably an entry and exit everywhere, honestly.
So what I'm trying to say here is for those Star Wars nerds that are real picky about this whole they can't go to another galaxy. Calm down. Take your fucking retainer out. Put it back in your fucking pocket protector. Calm down. Okay? Stop spittling all over everybody. You big fucking nerd.
Douchebag there are. Yes.
So the show was great. I loved the first 2 episodes. Now, again, and I will say this every time, it could completely go to shit after this. There's absolutely a chance of that. Okay? But the first 2 episodes were good. They were strong. It absolutely is a follow-up to Star Wars Rebels.
Look what Leo's
what you got here. Leo's got the Ahsoka. Which one is that?
It's the Valentine's Day one.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Someone's got a crush.
Yep, sure do.
Matt,
hey, it's Rosario Dawson. I don't blame him.
I want to mention something.
I know this is an older Ahsoka, but
I was about to say the older Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I like the personality of the not the super young Ahsoka, but in the Clone Wars, she was still a little more.
She was young.
Still energetic a little bit. She's very subdued now.
She is, but and I
She's
think
gone through 2 wars by this point.
that's how she
and
was.
lost basically her entire family, like basically too. With the
Lost her
501st.
entire family, lost the Jedi, lost her master to the dark side.
Yep.
Well, this is very much the way Rosario Dawson is
and
playing
technically, this
her.
Ahsoka was basically got resurrected by Ezra. He went back in time and
at one point, yes.
Yeah. And this the way Rosario Dawson is playing her is very, very similar to the way that Ahsoka was played in the last 2 seasons of Rebels.
Did you notice one of those Force users that are with the I'm going to call them former Jedi? Did you notice the lightsaber?
Oh, he was obviously
an Inquisitor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, one of the former Inquisitors is with those. I'm going to call.
I
them
wonder who it
Jedi.
is because there's going to be a reveal at some point about who that is.
It's probably one of the sisters, or it could be one of the brothers that Maul fought.
Well, it's definitely a dude in that suit, so I don't know who it's supposed to be, but that was not a chick.
No, it wasn't.
So that was not a female in that suit.
There were no breasts.
No. And then if that's a chick, she's very fucking buff.
She's also very flat.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time they pulled that crap though.
No, that's true.
Have all the characters portrayal be a dude, then the final reveal, take the helmet off, it's a girl.
Or they could be doing the
Taskmaster.
They could be doing the whole woke binary thing.
Yeah, I'm about to say like in Black Widow.
Yeah, Taskmaster was played by a guy, and then when they did final reveal, it's a girl.
Yeah. Such a stupid thing to do. My only
especially
hope for
such
that,
a great character to be basically
Taskmaster is like, in my opinion, a top tier Avengers villain, and they made him a joke. My only hope for that, and I know I've talked about this before, was that we would find out, and I'm blanking on the dude's name that created her. What's the guy that ran the Black Widow program? It doesn't matter. My only hope was that he knew the real Taskmaster and fucking designed her after him and gave her the kind of
most likely
cybernetic enhanced abilities of what he had naturally to try and mimic him. That was my hope. Now at this point, it doesn't appear we're ever going to get Taskmaster because they're already going into Secret Wars, which is going to reboot everything. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get a Taskmaster at some point eventually. That's a true Taskmaster, but that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would like a real Mandarin too.
Yeah.
Well, no, they've already killed him off.
No, I mean the real Mandarin, not the head Shang-Chi's father, who was never the Mandarin in the comics. I mean,
no, but they changed the storyline to make him that. So
that's why I say I want a real Mandarin. The 10 rings, not 10 bracelets.
10 bracelets. Yep. That's great.
Although I will say, I hope they bring back Shang-Chi at some point because, I really liked that movie, even though they did change Mandarin. Like, I liked that movie a lot. That's one of those movies. The more I watch it, the more I enjoy it. And I think part of it
didn't need to change as much as they did the story, though. They could have done a lot.
No, they didn't. They could have done essentially the same thing, and had it. If they wanted to, and I don't have a problem with them making changes. Like if they wanted to make the Mandarin be Shang-Chi's father, whatever. That doesn't bother me. The rings were kind of bothered me. The fact that they killed him off bothered me. But
Shang-Chi's father was already an immortal. Of course, his name is kind of racist.
Yes, very. Nowadays. Yeah, but I love kung fu fantasy movies. I grew up on them. I love those things.
Yeah,
and it's like the ultimate kung fu fantasy movie. So I love that movie. I like the Shang-Chi character. But I hope
I like Iron Fist too, though.
I like Iron Fist. I just don't like what they did with him in that damn show. Although
I would think that would have been like a really.
Although what's funny,
it would have been really cool and grounded though if they stuck with the comic book of Shang-Chi, where he's basically just a street level character, and he worked for the MI5.
Yeah,
they could have done their version like Bond type character.
Good.
I will say about the whole Iron Fist thing, that first season was so horrible. It was so bad. but they did such a good job making this season 2 way, way, way better. It still wasn't perfect, but had that been the first season instead of that bullshit we got in season 1, I wonder if we would have gotten more Iron Fist because it would have been much better received.
I really like the ending of that second season.
Oh, the ending
where he's got the 1911s.
Yeah, which is technically what's the other guy's name who was Iron Fist? Because
it was the previous Iron Fist guy.
The previous Iron Fist. I don't remember his name, but it was technically done up like that version of Iron Fist. But it was such a vastly great improvement over the first season.
Yeah,
that I actually like season 2, even though I was never fully sold on that actor as the character. But whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all fucking done and gone anyway. But
yeah.
Well, I hate to, with all the different choices they got for actors, they picked him, and he didn't really know martial arts either. They had to train him for the show.
Yeah,
and here's a crazy idea. I know they're kind of campy and crap, but get one of the Power Ranger actors. They all know martial arts.
Well, and
some of them are dead.
Well, I mean, but the Power Rangers have been going for 40 years. There's new series launching right now. There's a lot of actors out there.
Yeah.
Well, now hold on. To be fair, I don't have a problem with that actor portraying Iron Fist. I have a problem that Marvel Studios didn't prepare him, or Netflix, or whoever, to play that role, because there are actors that get trained to do things all the time.
Oh yeah.
And they did not give him the training. They instead told him, well, we're going to have you do a few things, but we're going to have stunt actors.
I just didn't think he had the look.
Obviously, or not him, do some of the extreme scenes and shit, instead of taking the time to train him properly to at least be able to pull off the stunt stuff. You know what I mean?
It'd been more believable too if they would have just gave him the outfit. That way, the stunt actor could have been wearing the mask, like Daredevil.
Which is what they did with Daredevil. Yeah.
And
they didn't do it.
No,
so I don't blame the actor for that. I don't blame the actor for that.
The show was written really bad too. The first season, he acted like a child. He was a grown man, but still try to act like the child he was when he was first left.
And the story, like, I don't give a shit about this whole corporate bullshit fighting for the company crap. That is not what anybody is watching Iron Fist for.
And the shift from the change to the hand too, they made throughout the whole Netflix stuff went from all ninjas to white corporate people.
Well, no, the hand was always like that. The hand had their hand. Literally, the hand had their hand in everything.
Well, but it started out really good though. It's like with their portrayal, like they had a lot of the ninjas, but they quit doing the ninja stuff to basically just resurrect the characters.
What I liked about Iron Fist were when he first mentioned the hand to like the Yakuza and the Triad, they were scared as hell. They're like, we don't want anything to do with the hand.
Quinn Comics, like, the actor didn't look the part, and they could have at least given him the decent chest tattoo, costume, regular clothes. Did not make him look like a super outfit.
No.
Yep. No, it's true. There was so much they could have done with that show, and had they trained him to play the Danny Rand character properly, he would have done a much better job. Because I don't think, forget that guy's name, Finn Jones or something like that. I can't remember his name.
As well written as the other series are. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't think he's a bad actor.
Yeah.
I've seen him in plenty of other things. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he could have pulled it off had the story been good. The story was not good. The writing was not good. And they didn't bother to train him in martial arts at all before throwing him in front of a camera.
Right.
And I don't know. All the previous Netflix series too before then were very well written. That first season was awful.
Oh yeah. Because at that point we had gotten Daredevil season 1, Daredevil season 2, and Jessica Jones, the first season of Jessica Jones, which were 3 great seasons of television. Then we got Luke Cage season 1, which was okay.
It was all right, yeah.
But season
great.
2,
No, Luke Cage season 1 was great.
Season 2 of Luke Cage was way better than season 1.
It was.
The soundtrack was way better in season 2.
But the
soundtrack.
What I did like is, even though they had Iron Fist, What was that one where they had the whole group? What was that one called?
Defenders.
Defenders. Yeah.
I like Defenders.
I like Defenders.
I mean,
Defenders
even though they had Danny Rand in there, I thought he did a better job in Defenders than he did in season one.
Much better. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much better. And then of course we got Jessica Jones season 2, which is in my opinion the worst Marvel Netflix thing we ever got. Yeah. It was horrible. It was worse than Iron Fist season 1. It was awful. And coming off such a strong first season 1 of Jessica Jones was great. Mm-hmm. And season 2 was the worst piece of crap I had ever seen. It was just horrible across the board. There was nothing redeeming or good about that season at all.
No, not at all.
And it was just bad. And then of course we got Daredevil season 3, which was fantastic. And we got Punisher season 1 and 2, which were both fantastic.
Punisher was good.
No, season 2 was trash.
No, season 2 was still really good. It was not as good as season 1.
No.
But it was still really good.
It was better than nothing.
They did not handle Jigsaw's very well in season 2, though.
No, at all.
He was mangled in the season 1. There's no amount of plastic surgery to make him look that damn good.
Yeah. No, honestly, what it came down to is that actor's just too damn good looking. They weren't going to screw that up. So they let him just stay the way he was, but whatever.
I agree with Quinn, too. Costumes, people. We need costumes.
Yeah, I know. Which, I mean, they had nailed in Daredevil.
Yeah, then they took his costume away.
Yeah. And then, like, we got a little bit, got a taste of it in at the very end of Iron Fist. I think Punisher was fine. Punisher was good. I mean, I think Punisher, you know, his costume is just a t-shirt with a skull on it, which we got plenty of that. Not a ton, but like we got more than enough for Punisher. You know, so Punisher was fine, like that. But I mean, in general, I would say overall there was more good in the Netflix Marvel stuff than bad. The bad was horrible, namely Jessica Jones season 2 and Iron Fist season 1. But other than those 2 seasons, most of it was pretty good, and some of it was downright phenomenal.
My favorite interpretation version of the Punisher still is Ray Stevenson's Rest in Peace.
Ray Stevenson is probably the most comic book accurate Punisher we've ever had. That being said, I went back a couple weeks ago and rewatched, because I hadn't rewatched in a long time, the 2004 Punisher, Thomas Jane Punisher. Mm-hmm. That movie still holds up.
I know. Have you watched Dirty Laundry?
Oh yeah, I've watched Dirty Laundry. It's phenomenal. And I know that they made changes to that in whatever else. I still think that movie is a fantastic Punisher movie.
The only thing I don't like about the 2004 one, they went a little overboard killing his family.
Yeah, they killed like 27 people.
They killed like his grandparents, his
like
brother, sister's cousins,
wife's daughter. You know,
they killed an entire family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was wiped.
That was a little fun.
Out. It was a little much.
It's enough just killing his immediate family.
Then they changed his origin story. You know, to be instead of it took place in fucking Florida instead of New York, and he wasn't NYPD. He was an FBI agent. And they made some changes, but the movie's still great. Like I said, I just watched.
Well, if you're gonna take someone out, you might as well take their whole family out with them, so they're not alone, right?
It holds up. It definitely holds up, and I highly recommend, if you haven't watched it in a while, go watch it, because it's still a great movie.
Okay, I've been listening to you guys talk about all this stuff for a minute now, and you got me thinking about something that I would like to see. It's something that would bring the country back together in a way that it hasn't been since the early 90s or late 80s. I forget when this movie came out. They need to make a sequel to The Last Dragon.
They absolutely do. The Last Dragon was, I think, 84, 85. Ooh. Last Dragon, one of the greatest 80s movies of all time. I love that movie. I can quote that movie while watching it.
And a great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. I mean, there's nothing not to love about that movie.
So you could just make it like Bruce Leroy. He's living in like the hood in 2023, and he sees this poor kid who's getting beat up by like a local gang or something, right? It writes itself.
Yes, I agree. By the way, Vanity, incredibly hot. Let's all have a moment of silence.
Yes.
She passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sure Enough was played by Lord Bowler from Briscoe County Jr.
Yep. Timac. Have you seen Timac lately? Dude's like in his late 50s.
It still looks the same.
Shredded. He is fucking shredded. That dude is in better shape than most 19-year-olds.
That's why they can do a part 2 and have him.
Yeah, hell yeah, they can.
Passing the torch.
Yes.
Somebody else. Man.
They should absolutely do another, the next Last Dragon. Or the last Dragon. Or the Last Dragon, Return of Sho'nuff.
Right.
He's 59 years old and he's still shredded. Yeah.
Or next to the Last Dragon.
Or just Last Dragon, Kiss My Converse. Or something. I don't know. Figure it out. Make it happen, people, because I'm waiting for this shit.
I think
How about the new
Last Dragon is the anser. Because
Last Dragon?
It writes itself.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely does. You can literally do anything. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's not like the storyline of that first movie was some phenomenal feat of cinematography and writing. It was just fucking great. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was a nuts movie, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
great movie ever.
Just
all right,
like
Bill, super chat. Go Shadow had dropped in a super chat earlier, and I missed it because I was talking. Go Shadow says they always talk about leaving the galaxy at the edge, but never talk about going perpendicular to the galactic plane. What would happen? I don't know. That's not. I mean, maybe they have mentioned that in some of the books or comics.
They might have mentioned it at some point.
But if they have, I don't remember it. What would happen in Star Wars if they instead of going outwards, they went, whatever. I don't know. I've never heard that mentioned. So, but maybe it has. Maybe it's been talked about in one of the books or something. I just don't remember it if it has. But
the last dragon. Be like Sure Enough son coming for revenge. Since Lord Bowler passed in 2008, so
be Sure Enough son and Bruce Leroy's son. They can do kind of like what they did with did y'all ever see the son? What was the name of that movie? The Son of Shaft. Did you ever watch that? Y'all ever seen this movie? This movie came out in like the early 2010s. And it was Son of Shaft, and I didn't know it ever went to the movies. I ended up seeing it a few years ago. I was like, holy shit, they made this movie, and it legit was great. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it because early 2000s, Samuel L. Jackson did a Shaft movie, right?
Yeah.
So they did a Son of Shaft movie in like the early 2010s.
2019.
And the main character is the son of Shaft, and he's grown up, and he's not a badass like his dad at all. But Samuel L. Jackson is in it as Shaft, and guess who else is in it as Shaft's dad? Richard
Roundtree.
Yeah,
is in that fucking movie. So it's like 3 generations of Shaft, and some shit goes down.
That's
and the
Shaft
son
2019.
the son has to learn to be a badass like his dad and grandpa. And it's got a ton of action in it, and it's funny as shit. If you've never seen this movie, I recommend going and finding Son of Shaft somewhere.
They asked him if he wanted any grits, and he didn't even know what grits were.
He didn't know what grits were. I know. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this movie till it was like streaming somewhere years after it had gone to the movies. I didn't even know.
I like a little butter maple syrup in my cigarettes.
Does the Son of Shaft end up having his own theme music while he's walking down the sidewalk?
Yes.
I'm fucking A. Dude. Sold. I'm sold.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it if nobody's ever seen it. But that's what they need to do to the last Dragon. It's just have Timac will be the dad that's been trying to get his son to get into martial arts forever, but his son wants to go to college and then do other things and doesn't care about martial arts till Sho'nuff's son shows up into town and shit goes down and the son has to become badass. however the fuck that goes, I don't know. Figure it out, people. But yes, this shit writes itself. Make it fucking happen. And if you don't at least at one point in the movie have somebody say "kiss my Converse," then screw you. You don't know how to write a movie.
You don't.
Okay.
They'll have Show Enough son be some kind of annoying TikToker or something.
Kids even know what Converse are.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my daughter has a pair of Chuck Taylors. Kids know what fucking Converse are. Absolutely. Yeah.
They're still
What if
popular.
They're still
What if you
very
did it like? What if you did it like Cobra Kai and made it a comedy?
Well, it kind of already was.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
It was.
Yeah.
But you gotta have Busta Rhymes in there somewhere as like one of Show Enough's nephews or something.
Or like Show Enough's little brother that raised little Show Enough because his dad died in the 90s or something because he was in a horse riding accident with Bruce Campbell.
No, they need to have like
get that. If you don't get that, look it up, people.
They need to have like Dr. Dre.
Jared knows what I'm talking about.
They need to have like Dr. Dre or somebody play like the Shogun guy.
That's Show Enough.
Okay, I forgot his name. Sorry.
Anyway, yes, I would be
why
down.
I say that Busta Rhymes would have been a great part of it.
Busta Rhymes kind of looked like Show Enough.
Yeah.
That actor was actually kind of that actor was pretty tall too. That played Show Enough. He's 6'5".
Oh yeah, he was like 6'7" or something.
Dogg.
He was a tall
Snoop
dude.
Dogg would be a great.
Because if you've ever watched Briscoe County Jr., Bruce Campbell's like 6'2", 6'3". He's a tall dude, and he was significantly taller than Bruce Campbell.
Yeah,
they could call him Mona.
He was a big dude, but anyway, I don't know where we were going with this. We started talking about Ahsoka, which is a great show. Holy shit! I can't believe it actually lived up to my expectations as being a great sequel to Rebels. Like seriously, my expectations were so high, knowing this is Dave Filoni. This is being advertised as a continuation of Star Wars Rebels, that going in to watch the first episode, I was expecting to be disappointed because I thought there's no way this is going to live up to my expectations. I loved Rebels so much that I couldn't, I could not imagine that I would have actually enjoyed it as much as I did. And I absolutely loved the first 2 episodes. They were great. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So, and it just felt like Star Wars Rebels. So if you are a fan of Star Wars Rebels, you absolutely have to watch this show.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. It was good, man. There was no woke bullshit in it,
Here's my question. It's only 2 episodes in, right?
It's only 2 episodes in.
All right. I'm planning on waiting. I'm waiting till the end. Is there any reason?
Yeah, wait in, binge watch everything. Yeah.
Okay. It's not.
And
like
who knows? I mean, the show could go to shit. I have no idea. But the first 2 episodes were great. I loved them. It was just like watching Star Wars Rebels again, man. It was fantastic. They even got David Tennant back to play the voice of what's his name? Hun Yang, I think. He's the if anybody remembers him from like Clone Wars and stuff, and I think he did pop up in Rebels too. He was the old Jedi Council or Jedi Order the droid that helped Jedi build their lightsabers. Yeah. And on the show, it was voiced by David Tennant, and they got him to do the voice for this too. So he's in there. Like it was like everything I wanted. It was everything that I wanted in a freaking continuation of Star Wars Rebels. So I loved it.
And they brought back Clancy Brown too, didn't they?
I didn't see him in there.
I saw an article or they're having him.
He might be in it later.
Reprise his voice role in Rebels.
I mean, if he is, great. I mean, just in the first 2 episodes, we get
the young. We know him as the Kurgan, but the youngsters know him as Mr. Krabs.
Yes.
I know him as Sergeant Zim from Starship Troopers.
Yes,
that too.
Clancy Brown, and also like one of I think maybe his best voiceover work ever was as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
So, but Clancy Brown's awesome. I love Clancy Brown. But
pretty good in Gargoyle too.
Yes. Yeah. So, but anyway, I see Where did it go? Hold on. I see my wife's out there trolling me.
Good.
Yeah.
Give him hell.
Yeah. She knows that when I was a kid, I had a thing for Vanity. I'm sorry, Vanity was hot. Okay.
Yeah,
Who
she
didn't
was.
have a thing for Vanity?
Those people
Did she
still
give
have
you
a
the glow?
yes, but
Did she
and
give you
it's
the
not like
glow?
my wife. Like I mean, me and my wife have had this discussion before. My wife thinks Vanity's hot too, so I don't know why she's giving me shit. So, anyway,
I think
Thank
it's just
you,
because
honey.
she can.
thanks, dear.
And before we get away from Ahsoka again,
Yes,
I saw on Instagram Star Wars page one of them, but they asked if people had watched Ahsoka and what they thought of it. One jackwagon popped up and said something along the lines of, I watched the first 3 Star Wars movies, whether it was the original, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, all them, or The Phantom Menace, and on. I don't know because he didn't say. But it's like, I'm tired of them making Star Wars movies with all these boss female characters. And it's like, huh? Princess Leia?
Yeah.
Ahsoka in the Clone Wars movies and the series? And
well, again, and I've had these
Ahsoka and
conversations.
Sabine in Rebels? It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, well, it's one of these things, and in fact, I was talking to Quinn about this last week when I went out to Quinn's shop? We were talking about this. Like, this is one of those things. Like right now, with the political climate being what it is, everybody wants to get triggered and upset about something, and like, especially when it comes to like, you know, especially people. It's the woke versus the anti-woke, and both get triggered by fucking everything. And right now, the anti-woke thinks if you put a chick in anything, it's because you're being woke. It's like, look, dude.
No, that's if you make it all chicks.
Doing this shit for a long time. You go back to whether it's Ripley, Sarah Connor, Princess Leia, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know, Dark Angel to like pick Dollhouse, fucking pick a show, pick a thing. Like, you know, chicks in geek culture being badasses or being starring characters or whatever has been very popular in geek culture for a long, long time. You know, like this is
Even
not
as far back as the 80s.
Now that is not to say there is not
well before that.
Yeah,
that's not to say there's not plenty of woke culture going on in TVs and movies right now. There absolutely is, but we've gotten to a point to where, and by the way, it's woke culture's fault that this is happening. But we've gotten to a point now where if there is ever a strong woman depicted in anything, people default to, oh, it's woke bullshit. And I get why, because people are tired of all the woke BS. And so it's kind of Hollywood's fault because they've kind of done it to themselves. But the honest truth is not everything is woke just because there's a female character in the lead or whatever. Not everything is woke.
The stupid way with strong female characters, great, been around forever. The stupid is when they have them like, they add the strong female. They can't do the strong female character without belittling the male characters in the show.
Yeah,
you know what it is. You know what it is.
If they're a strong female character, they don't need to belittle the male characters. That's how you can tell if it's actually woke.
This is what happened to Finn in the sequel trilogy. Finn was the best character in that show. He should have been the star of those movies. He should have been the hero. He was the ex-stormtrooper who had a great redemption story. And he got, by the second movie, he was sidelined as like the puppy dog who's like in love with the main character, who gets shit storylines and gets shit on over and over again.
His first scene in the second movie, he slips and falls.
You know what it is. You know what it is. It's okay. It's like when you have an allergy to peanuts, right? And like the little tiniest flake of peanut will set off in a huge allergic reaction in your body that's disproportional to the amount of peanut that you ate, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at with woke shit.
Yeah,
People
and
are
it's
so
fault.
fucking fed up with it, so fucking sick of it, that one little tiny like hint of woke in something, and they're just like, oh, you know, and I get it, dude. I fucking get it.
No, I get it too. And it's Hollywood's fault. They have done this to themselves. Even when they do put out something that might be genuinely good, they get shit for it because people are so conditioned to assume that everything that Hollywood puts out is woke propaganda. And so they've done it to themselves. They have conditioned the audience to respond a certain way to anything they put out.
And their promotions for everything else, before they even talk about how good the show is, they start shitting on the fans beforehand.
They start also, fans, like with this whole Snow White crap right now.
Yeah,
they just crapped all over the original story and the original fans and everything else. Movie hasn't come out yet. Nobody knows if it's even any good. Nobody even knows if this stupid actress even understands the story she was put. She just went there.
The Prince stalks Snow White. Weird.
And that's what I was about to say. It's also like, the actor's fault for being on Twitter and running their mouths.
Yeah. I mean,
and Snow White started Disney.
I'm sorry.
You would think they would not.
Well, and here's the
shit on the original.
I don't know that it is or isn't. I don't really care because Snow White's just not my thing. I don't care. Yeah. I wouldn't have seen this movie anyway, even if it was a perfect 100%, shot for shot remake adaptation of the original cartoon. I still probably would not have gone to see this movie. But this movie could come out and be actually good. This movie could come out and actually have a love story in it. This movie could come out and be completely different from what we all assume it is. But because this chick opened her mouth on social media and started spouting off woke BS, like many actors have done before, she's already ruined the movie. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be good. I have a feeling it's not going to be good. But what I'm saying is these actors, exactly like you were saying, sometimes it's their fault. They come out and open their mouth and input their own biases and political woke ideology in these interviews and crap that may not actually be in the movie. And they ruin it. Like, studios should be like, you shut up. You don't get to say anything while this movie is being marketed and promoted because screw you. You're going to open your mouth and say something dumb and this movie is going to tank. Now, if the movie tanks on its own because it is woke bullshit, then absolutely. It should tank.
How much of it is marketing is engineered? Like, go out and say outrageous shit so that we get free advertising in the news when people talk about this movie and tags and stuff.
But I don't think it's going to work as well with this one because they even try to politicize like the dwarves. It's like that's their preferred thing that said Snow White and Seven dwarves. That's politically incorrect. That's racist to call them dwarves.
Yeah, you should call it Snow Off-White and the 7 diversity hires.
When you got the little people dwarf actors are like, we could have gotten big paydays for this movie. Yeah. Now we don't get a lot of movie roles. Yep. This is one thing we were.
It's literally in the name.
Yeah,
it's literally in the name. Well, that's like a lot of people were getting upset about this new Willy Wonka, right? Because they didn't have any actual like dwarf actors in the roles. They're getting like what's his face and stuff. If you've seen the trailers to like play, they just kind of shrink them down with CGI and shit and whatever else. It's It's like, it is one of those things. It's like, look, this is literally the one thing we can do in movies. We can play Ewoks. We can play the dwarves in Snow White. We can play Oompa Loompas. And you're like so overly concerned about your woke ideology that you just have now taken all these roles away from people. Actually may want to do this.
They have Willow for like 5 seconds, but then they ruined the. Oh my god, that was the worst show I have ever seen, and I was so ready to love that show because I loved the movie when I was a kid. And they just took everything I loved and used it for toilet paper.
But Piers Morgan had one of these weirdo wokies on there who wouldn't even. He had the actor that played Hornswoggle on WWE. He prefers to be called a dwarf, and that wokie wouldn't even call him a dwarf because I don't want to be canceled.
Dude, more midgets were born because of the original Willow movie than like any other event in history.
Yep. Fucking nuts, man. But no, it's all Hollywood's fault.
I'm pretty
Hollywood
sure that's
got
true.
into their woke ideology and basically put everybody on high alert that everything's going to be woke. Just assume everything's going to be woke garbage. And so once in a while, when they put out something good, people are like, oh, this is It must be woke garbage. It must be. There's a female who's a lead actress. I bet it's woke garbage, and it's their own fault for doing that. They fucking did it to themselves. They shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Listen, if the story is good, even if they have a good story, and it meshes well, it doesn't matter what gender the main character is if the story flows well.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
But the problem is people have been, I hate to say this, they've either been indoctrinated to do the woke thing, or they're too set in their own ways to not accept any other type of main character other than a man because of the bullshit we got from like Ghostbusters 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which again, the Ghostbusters 2016 thing for me was just a horrible trash movie. I don't have a problem.
It was a cash grab.
I don't have a problem with when movies do like race swaps, gender swaps, things like that, if it's legitimately good. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if it's like
a horribly written movie.
Let's put a new spin
Well,
on.
there actually wasn't a
story.
script. They let them ad-lib the whole thing and piece it together.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
they killed Bill Murray in that movie. That's why it's an awful movie. Okay,
if it would have been actually funny and entertaining, I would have been fine with it. I don't give a shit if there's 4 female leads in it. If you want to retell the story with a different point of view or whatever, cool. Just make a good movie. That movie was trash.
Well, when they did Afterlife, the main lead was a little girl, and people liked it
because she played a good role.
Afterlife was
she did a good job.
Awesome movie.
He had a thought.
and it was
movies.
And it's
there's no history of any
they
kind of woman ever being in a movie ever before, and that they're the first ones to come up with a woman lead. Like, there's no Aliens or there's a million movies where there was like a badass woman lead, right?
Right.
Like Terminator, right?
Terminator.
Fucking so many movies, and they're just like, well, we're the first ones to ever think of putting a girl in the front and center.
The problem is, Honda, you're sexist.
Yeah, because I know that a fucking 90-pound woman would just get destroyed by the first thug. Like the big fat thug who you would think would be a pushover would just sit on her, and then like Black Widow would be like, ah!
Well, it's like, again, these people have never seen Star Wars or
whoa, you got this all wrong. Jennifer Lawrence is the first lead action star.
Oh God. And it's like, well, what? Nobody's ever seen La Femme Nikita, or you know what I mean? Like, there are stories going.
Very popular Underworld franchise.
Underworld, or go back to the '90s. Nobody has ever seen The Fifth Element. That
Kill Bill.
How about go back to the '80s?
Technically
Red
a
Sonja.
clone.
Like
the entire Alien trilogy. It's like the lead's been females,
but they always been written great. Well, at least most of the Alien series. Well,
Alien series. And that just further reinforces the point that we don't give 2 shits about who's in the lead as long as it's a decent story.
Yeah,
she can.
I mean, what was that?
Linda Carter as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Linda Carter, Foxy Brown.
And then there's today's writers do not know how to write strong, feminine women.
Multi-pass.
They don't know how to write, period. It's not just strong,
feminine women. Big bada boom. Yeah.
It's writing in
general.
general.
I don't know. But going back to it, Ahsoka was actually genuinely good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I gotta say, I did like it.
How many people in here have seen Ahsoka yet? I mean, I know Tim has. Anybody else watched it?
I've watched both
I've been
episodes.
waiting to watch it till there was a couple episodes. I didn't want to blow my whole.
Well, they
load.
dropped
like
2
watching
episodes
the
at the beginning, so there's 2 episodes out now.
I haven't watched it yet.
I've grown accustomed to watching a whole series, so I don't like watching them episodic.
Matt, I just sent you a video of what happened if a female action hero fought a bigger opponent. It's funny.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
There's videos on YouTube about it. They're showing a male MMA fighter, woman MMA fighter, and she tries to do that jump, wrap her legs around the neck, and he spins her around and slams her onto the mat.
So I got off of work last night, and I was really hungry, and I popped something in the microwave. And the next thing I know, the entire apartment is full of smoke because the microwave broke, which is fun. That's fine. But I went to the store today to get a new microwave, and I realized that you can get a microwave / air fryer.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I bought a microwave air fryer. They're like the microwave was like $60. The microwave air fryer was $100. So it was like $40 more. It wasn't that much more.
That's not bad.
I was just using the air fryer tonight. I was making bacon burgers, and I used while I was cooking up the burgers and everything, I used the air fryer to cook bacon. By the way, if you've never cooked bacon in an air fryer, it's fucking delicious.
Oh,
it's quick as shit.
How
You
do
need
you
that
even
recipe.
do that? You just wad it into a knot and throw it in there? How do you throw it
No,
in?
you spread them out. You spread them out on the air fryer. I set mine to 400 degrees
How
for
big
10
is your
minutes.
fucking air fryer? My air fryer is like a little bowl.
Well,
Well, I
because
have,
you buy cheap air
an
fryers.
adult size air fryer,
So do I.
an actual
Most don't have that kind of money. The guys fancy.
and I can put like a whole layer of bacon down on the bottom and throw it in 10 minutes at 400 degrees, and the bacon comes out perfect.
I'm
What's
just
even-
excited.
what's
because I've
really
never
good,
had an
too,
air fryer before.
I call it meat candy, with a little bit of brown sugar on that bacon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Now I like my bacon crunchy, so if you don't like your bacon crunchy, you can either turn down the temperature on your air fryer or cook it for less time or whatever. There's ways you can tweak it. Playing around with an air fryer mostly is just like tweaking things. You got to play around with them a little bit.
I will warn you, Honda, you're going to be air frying everything.
Dude, I'm telling you, air fryers are awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Well, you said air frying is like tweaking, and that's what they used to call doing methamphetamines back in the 90s.
No, I said with air frying, you end up tweaking a lot. Like
Yeah,
you
you're
tweak with
tweaking a
Tweaking the recipe.
You try different times with different temperatures to get things where you want them.
Because each air fryer's got a little different, too. You can't really go by.
Yeah, every air fryer is a little bit different, and so yeah.
Well, mine's also a microwave. I don't know. It's cool. I like it.
You never had an air fryer before, you're saying?
Yeah, no, this is the first one.
I just
Best
got
way
one
to
of
cook
those, one
chicken.
little one. Yeah, they are definitely.
They're like the best way to cook chicken.
Yeah.
I'm
awesome.
okay. So I'm making my first thing in it right now. Buffalo wings.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Ooh, yeah. Nice.
I've heard buffalo wings inside of an air fryer are 10 out of 10. So
Are the wings you got pre-seasoned or you dry first?
dry.
Well, once you get them done, close to done, you can put some of your buffalo season on it, then put them back in. Then,
I do fries a lot in the air fryer.
we are being
Cook
guilty.
until they're like
we're
fucking-
being guilty of the people's like, I got an air fryer. It's like I discovered like rocket science.
Yeah.
Well,
He
they're
did.
just they're better toaster ovens. They're like little tiny convection ovens. So
Yeah.
they are a different type of cooking.
And it's a microwave.
And it's a microwave.
How does that work?
Oh.
It has the same door.
Yeah, I mean it's like the inside of a microwave, but it's all made out of metal, which I don't know how that works.
It basically it switches.
What
over
it
from
is
microwave
it's an
to
air fryer that has a microwave setting. Is
Yeah.
what it is.
Well, yeah, but usually if you put metal inside of a microwave, it ends badly.
It just bounces a lot of microwaves
Well,
out of it. It's no
this
big deal.
one's
You're going to
made
get
out of
cancer,
metal.
but it'll be.
I don't know if you looked at most microwaves, but usually on the outside of them, they have a metal casing. So
Right, but that's
The
different
entire
than
inside of a microwave
chamber.
is usually metal. So
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
if you've ever like knocked on the inside of a standard microwave, it's metal.
it's metal. Yeah,
It's sheet metal.
But
you're just not supposed to put metal in it when you have the microwave on.
Do you know what the most metal birthday present you can get is?
What?
Nothing.
all right.
Okay, that's just bad.
Says-
Okay,
We're
next
not
thing
CD?
I want to talk about here is the new trailer drop this week. Now, I've been looking forward to a trailer. I've been looking forward to seeing this thing. But trailer dropped, so I was trying to, I wanted to watch it to see if it would live up to everything I've been hearing about it, and that is the new Zack Snyder Rebel Moon. Has anybody watched this trailer yet?
I've not seen it yet. No.
Okay, so they dropped the trailer. So Rebel Moon is the thing Zack Snyder's been working on for supposedly about 10 years, but he started working on it full time once all the DC Universe stuff was done, and he kind of finished all that a few years ago. And so this is a series of movies that is like, I've heard other people. No, haven't heard him describe it like this. I've heard other people describe it as his Star Wars. In other words, it's a big sci-fi epic, multiple movies, big storyline, takes place in a galaxy or something, and lots of stuff going on. Anyway, I'm actually a really big Zack Snyder fan. There aren't really any Zack Snyder movies I don't like. Like, I think the closest I've ever gotten to not liking a Zack Snyder movie is the theatrical version of Batman v Superman. But then he like redeemed himself by releasing the extended cut, which still has issues. I'm not lying. I'm not going to pretend. But like, it's way better when you see his director's cut, how he wanted it cut, versus how they released it at the movies. But like in general, I like everything Zack Snyder's done from Dawn of the Dead to Sucker Punch to 300 to Watchmen, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Right. 4-hour cut of Justice League is amazing. Like, I like Zack Snyder. I think he makes really good movies. So I was looking forward to this. Watch the trailer. It's about a 3.5-minute trailer, and it is fucking epic, and it looks great. I will say though, I still don't know what the hell this is about. Like, this trailer is. I mean, you kind of like, there's a person, the main character maybe is this chick who's supposed to grow up to become somebody, but we don't know who. And it's got a very kind of Seven Samurai or Magnificent Seven vibe to it, where she's got to gather like all these other kind of, ragtag group of people from all across the galaxy to do something. I don't know what, take over an evil empire or something. I don't know. The trailer is visually stunning as hell, and the movie looks amazing from the trailers. I still don't quite understand what the story is we're going to be watching here, but they dropped the trailer for the first 2 movies. He's got one coming out December 22nd. The other one is a couple days before Christmas this year. And then the next one comes out in April of next year. So about, 3.5 months later, the second movie in this series of movies is coming out. Also, what I heard is Netflix basically paid him more money than any director's ever been paid to distribute these movies. Like, these were movies. If you watch this trailer, it looks like something that should be going to the movie theater. You know what I mean? This is a Zack Snyder sci-fi epic. This thing should be going to the movie theaters, and it's going to be on Netflix. Apparently, they paid a whole lot of money to get the rights for distribution for these movies. And the first 2, he was filming them back to back, and so they're going to come out 3 months apart. And then these are just the first 2 in a series of movies that is supposed to span this whole big galactic sci-fi epic storyline. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend everybody go watch the trailer. I don't know. I mean, look, I've got faith it's going to be good because I pretty much like everything Zack Snyder's done. I mean, I pretty much like all the movies he's put out. Even when he did the Army of the Dead on Netflix, which is kind of where this kind of started, sort of his relationship with Netflix. I love that movie.
I still can't get over they didn't catch the head of dead pixel on their camera.
What?
Army of the Dead. They shot it with a camera with a dead pixel.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
It's like everybody was. I noticed it when I watched it. It's like, what the hell is? It bugged me to death, and everybody noticed it. The camera had a dead pixel.
Oh, there's like a black spot that's like stays put. I never noticed that.
All right. Well, anyway.
So I'm watching this trailer right now. So this is a story then that isn't a book or anything. Like, he made up this story, or he bought a separate story.
Yeah, this is a Zack Snyder story. He made this story up specifically to be movies.
My grandma had cataracts on her eyes when she was getting older, and they would fry them off with a laser. And every time they would fry off a cataract with a laser, it would leave a little like blind spot, like a pixel was missing. And she had so many of them over the years, by the time she got really old, that she became legally blind because so many pixels were missing.
It's a lot of.
Yeah, I've seen some demos that show you
so
like.
She was like by the end, she was seeing in like 480, right? She wasn't seeing in
Well, no, it's just that you get like a big black spot in the middle of your eye, so you see the edges, like you see the picture frame, but not the picture anymore.
Well, she would get bored and want to like explore and stuff because she was still pretty sharp, and she'd like wander off from her room, and then like it'd be time to take pills and they couldn't find her, so they got tired of looking for her, so they started putting a fucking ankle brace on her, like an ankle bracelet thing with GPS on it, so that they could find her when it was pill time. And she got all mad. Like I remember talking to her before she passed about how mad she was. Like they could, like no matter where she went, they could find her.
They got her low jacked.
It definitely seems like something like, I don't want to say Foundation because there seems to be too much stuff going on, but like Dune or something, like a huge story with a lot of people.
I mean, it looks like. I mean, it looks. If you rewatch a trailer, it does. It kind of like looks like an epic story the way Dune is, except it's Zack Snyder, so you can obviously tell from the trailer. There's a lot of action in it because he doesn't really do slow-paced sci-fi. He doesn't really do slow-paced anything. I mean, he directs a lot of action. All his movies have action in them.
But it'll be 3 movies altogether.
Spaceborne Snyder. They're attempting to create a Snyderverse.
Yes.
What's going on? It's so big. Yeah. Go ahead.
G, you said you were talking about Foundation. Have you watched Foundation?
Yeah, I can't handle it because it's not the book, but yeah, I've been watching it. It's also episodic, so it's driving me nuts. I watch it and then I watch them all, and then I wait and then I watch them all again. But
yeah, I'm an episode and a half behind. I haven't finished. I haven't caught up yet, but I'm already. Yeah, I'm on season 2. I like it a lot. It is very slow burn sci-fi though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that it's nothing to do with Foundation anymore, the book. But it's standalone. It's an interesting thing, like Epic, like whatever. They spend some money on it. It's worth watching.
Yeah, and it's good. It's well acted, well written, everything. But it's very, very slow. It's very slow burn sci-fi. Which a lot of sci-fi. Foundation was. The books were.
Well, it pays off, right? That's the part about sci-fi that's kind of cool. Is that it's worth your weight, right? Like there's a lot to it.
Yeah. So, but it's actually a really good show. I like it.
But you're saying this Zack Snyder, the Rebel Moon, is going to be 3 movies altogether?
Well, he said it's a series of movies building a universe. Basically the way I've heard him describe it is essentially there's no end to it. This is going to be an ongoing series.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like he can just keep making movies that take place in this universe.
So I'm scared. It seems a little, not that it looked like it, but it almost seems like, what was that movie about those cities that drove around? It seems like you're gonna have to like a lot of the elements of this. It looks like there's a lot of, it's not really dragons, but it was like space dragons or something. It's like there's going to be a lot.
Yeah, it's got the one guy he's riding a fucking giant. I don't know what that thing was, honestly, but whatever the hell it was.
Y'all just jealous you can't ride a luck dragon like I can.
That's true. You can ride a luck dragon.
Did you ever see the movie Dark City, like late 90s?
Oh, that's a great movie.
I missed it, and I only watched it recently, but yeah, I watched it twice now, I think.
Super weird. I never really understood what was going on with that movie. I need to watch it again.
It's
okay.
It's a movie. What's that guy's name? Proyas, Alex Proyas.
What time is it now, Mr. Hand?
The guy who directed and he actually wrote that movie is the same guy who did The Crow back in '94.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his movie. Yeah, Dark City is his movie. I think it's a really good movie. It's very trippy as shit. It deserved to get some sequels because of the way if you've ever seen it, the way the movie ends, like there's obviously a lot more going on. But it was very much overshadowed because it came out like I think a month apart from the first Matrix movie. And so it got completely overshadowed by Matrix, as did everything that came out.
Can you imagine a movie coming out when Matrix came out? I literally don't remember any movies that came out.
Yeah, well, I know that's what happened to that movie. It came out in '99, I think a month. I can't remember if it was a month before or a month after Matrix came out. And
it just waited for 2000. Like
the what?
They should have just waited till 2000 or something.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a good movie. I like it quite a bit. It's a very dark it's a dark noir movie that then takes a dramatic twist in the third act, and you realize there's a whole lot more shit going on here than you thought. It does share some, like, and that's, I think, another thing that might have hurt it. It shares some similar themes to The Matrix, in that the idea that people are living in this world and think everything's fine and great, but technically they're living in a fucking fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, there's more shit going on here. It's not the real world as they know it. So I think it kind of got overshadowed by The Matrix quite a bit, but it's definitely worth watching. It's dark sci-fi is what it is. So
they ought to do a Dark City 2, fuck The Matrix, and like have a character that looks like Neo get squished up in there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I've been saying, what time is it now, Mr. Hand, for like 25 years, and no one's ever fucking known what the fuck I was talking about when I said it. Including this time right now, because I said it a minute ago and no one did anything. It's fine.
That's all right.
I knew you were referencing Dark City.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it, but still. Come on.
All right, so I want to have a little discussion here. This is kind of in the title of my video tonight, so we're going to talk about this. And if Quinn's out there listening, I don't know if he is. He's at his shop right now. I'm curious.
You should do a live show from the shop sometime.
I would love to do a live show from the shop sometime. If Quinn would let me, I would totally do a live show from
Quinn. Go around looking at all the stuff there. I'm assuming it's a shop with a bunch of stuff on the walls.
Quinn, are you there? Hint, hint. You want to do a live show from your shop? I'll totally do one.
Hey, maybe a future Friday show.
Jared, have you ever seen his shop?
No, I have not. Not just pictures. Well, I've seen pictures. He puts
of it. Yeah. His shop's awesome. I love his shop. He's got a section in the back that's just this little like alcove area that's just full of Star Wars stuff, and he's got like his vintage. What is it? Oh shit! I don't know. I guess Quinn's not still here. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I know he puts this on while he's doing stuff in the shop, so I don't know if he's listening right now, but he's got like is it the vintage? What was the big one that came out late 2000s or early 2010s? The big awesome version of the Millennium Falcon, 3 3/4 inch.
Oh, I can't remember.
The one that's worth like $1,000 now. You can't find them anymore. Anyway, he's got one of those on the wall, and there's this whole little alcove that's constantly playing Star Wars music, but you can only hear it if you walk close enough to it.
My friend's got the comic book shop. He's got one and still in the box.
Yeah, this one's like mounted on the wall, but then he's constantly got a stream. I don't know where he gets it from. A stream of just constant like geek music is the best way to explain it. And like every 30 seconds, it'll transition from like Star Wars music to Star Trek music to like the theme to Robotech to the theme song from this and the theme song from that. And like, it's great. It's a great ambiance for a geek when you walk into Quinn's shop. It's awesome. I love it.
I was the other night.
Yeah,
and I heard Leo's ringtone from this girl's phone, and I'm like, Kim Possible, and I got a bigger tip from it. So thanks, Leo.
You're welcome.
Well, anyway, I want to talk about this tonight because, and again, Quinn, if you're out there, I want your opinion on this too. I want to talk about what I think are sci-fi shows that should have continued, or still could be continued. All right. Sci-fi shows that maybe were canceled too early, didn't get a chance, or that should still be going on or should be continued in some way, shape, or form. And I'm putting this out there because I just finished a show that I had only ever seen the first time when it first came out. It got 2 seasons, and I remember when it came out, I really, really liked the show and was really disappointed that it had gotten canceled after season 2. And recently, I was rewatching Stargate Atlantis. We talked about that last week or week before or something. I was rewatching Stargate or watching Stargate Atlantis because I'd only ever seen the first season. And so I finally got to watch Stargate Atlantis. Fantastic show. Well, after I had binge watched that took me about 3 weeks to get through those 5 seasons. I decided, you know what? I only ever watched Stargate Universe once. And I watched it when it was on week to week. I've never gone back and watched it again. I remember really liking it. And I remember the show, but I don't remember specifics about the show. You know what I mean? And so for the last week and a half, I've been binge watching the 2 seasons of Stargate Universe, SGU. And it's 40 episodes because it's 2 seasons of 20 episodes each. And these are hour-long episodes, right? So it's pretty meaty. It's 40 hour-long episodes of television. And after having just binge watched it, I'm gonna make a declaration here that this could have been one of the greatest sci-fi shows of all time. And in fact, came pretty damn close had it not been canceled. I mean, even with the 40 episodes we got, it may be one of the greatest sci-fi shows I've
You're counting them all together?
Huh?
Are you counting just the last part you're saying, universe, or all of them together?
I'm saying just Stargate Universe may be one of the greatest sci-fi shows I've ever seen.
That's interesting because everything I've ever heard about that show is out of all of the Stargates, it's the worst one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally not. It may, in fact, be the best one.
That's because it's the opposite from the original and Atlantis as far as like a serious tone.
Oh yeah, it's
but it was still written good.
It's totally like a dark, serious, fucking sci-fi show.
It was kind of like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it's very similar in tone to Battlestar Galactica, and it is not an episode to episode fucking fucking space monster of the week. It is one big 40 episode storyline. And each episode just continues the story one into the next, into the next, into the next, into the next. There's very few episodes that are one and done episodes. In fact, almost none of them are. There's a couple here and there.
Wait, what show? I missed it.
I'm sorry, what?
What show? I missed you talking about.
Stargate Universe.
Oh, you're still talking about that.
Yes, I'm still talking about this, goddammit. And like I said, I spent the last week and a half binge watching 40 episodes of television.
I've been watching Stargate, the first
phenomenal.
one.
It's fucking phenomenal. 2 seasons of this show is better than multiple seasons of many other shows I've seen.
Is it the same crew as the same actors as regular Stargate?
They make appearances on it from time to time, yes. But the cast is all new. The show is completely new. It takes the main characters of the show are completely different than you've seen on Stargate before. This is a different group of people in the same universe, and it's fucking phenomenal. Like it really, really is. Like I was surprised going back and rewatching it. I was surprised that I didn't remember it being this good.
I went to
being that fantastic of a show.
I went to watch Stargate, right? And I only barely remember seeing it here and there. Like I never paid attention to Stargate. So I went online and they said to watch the movie, then the first 7 seasons of the real show, and then to watch 2 of the movies, like not order, and then and then to watch seasons 8 and Atlantis 1, season 9 and Atlantis 2, season 10, the last season, Atlantis season 3, then watch Arc of Truth, then watch the rest of Atlantis, then watch Continuum, Atlantis season 5, and then Universe, because of like what you're saying, Universe is like in the next, and that's the way they were. But
that sounds about right. I mean, I don't know exactly, but yeah.
There's multiple strategies, but that's like the way to get the story.
If you want to watch them in like chronological order of when these stories take place, yes, that's right. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've been trying to do. So I'm way far away from watching Universe. That's way
because Universe is at the very
complicated at all.
Oh. Yeah. If it ain't got Richard Dean Anderson, then I don't want to see it.
He's hard to watch because it's like watching MacGyver. I'm like, he's basically
he's in several episodes of Stargate Universe.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know, Matt. I'm gonna have to argue with you on this one.
What?
Stargate Universe was all right. I'll give you that. But it wasn't.
It wasn't all right. It was fucking fantastic.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
It was leaps and bounds above Atlantis. And while it is only comparing 2 seasons to 10, I can't say it's better than SG1. But I can say at the storytelling and acting and character development level that it maintained in 2 seasons, if that had been extended to even 5, it would have absolutely been better than Stargate SG-1, hands down.
I mean,
Dude, the
it
writing
would have
was
been better
better.
had they not included the Lucian Alliance bullshit.
Dude, the Lucian Alliance bullshit was fucking great. What are you talking about?
No, it's just a bunch
First
of
of all,
humans that
Lucian
in
Alliance
another part of the galaxy that
only
overtook
like
the Ghoul.
First of all, that was only like 4 out of 40 episodes. That was the end of season 1 going into the beginning of season 2. That's it, first of all. So it wasn't even that big of a storyline. And the characters that storyline added to the show were fucking phenomenal. So, like, I don't know why that's a big deal. Because, first of all, it's not a big part.
Hold on.
You're talking about universe again, right?
Matt,
Yes.
let me get some pants.
Well, get your blue
Wait, what?
That's the joke. That's one of the things in the first episode. Can I get some pants?
Yes. I'm just telling you, man.
Who is
the story, the character development, the writing, the filmography, fucking everything on this show is better than SG-1 or Atlantis. The show was filmed better, written better, dialogued better. The characters are better.
It had to be
Fucking
10 years later,
better
right?
on this show than anything that has come before in Stargate. That is not to take away from anything that has come before on Stargate. SG-1 is one of the greatest sci-fi shows of all time, hands down. Stargate Atlantis is fucking phenomenal. But I am telling you, as somebody who literally just fucking watched, I just finished the last episode today, about an hour and a half before this show started. It is amazingly well done sci-fi. It is some of the best science fiction television I have ever seen.
Just as a nutshell, like it's still the same thing as SG-1. They're jumping through the circle to go to different places.
No, it has the jump gates and it's part of the story, but they're stuck on a ship, a siege ship, and they can't get home.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it is a different
You know what
type
it
of
is?
story.
They're
Then. It's not
following
the
the
same
siege
old-
ships.
It's a
You know what
siege
it
ship
is?
and
It's
Stargate.
that-
Oh yeah, they're following the siege ship, and but
So
they're on-
Matt's like that. Okay, so there's that dude with like a gun who's always like, the best gun is the one in my hand. It's my favorite gun. Matt's like that with sci-fi.
And well, I'm gonna say this right now, Matt. You know another series that was canceled too soon? Firefly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for everybody.
Firefly.
I got a list. How are we doing this? Are we
Well,
going to go around in a circle? or
Firefly is an easy answer for that because it's so well beloved. But one I was really disappointed that got canceled or too soon. Almost Human.
Almost
Carl
Human.
Urban.
By the way, you're all naming shows that are on my list of shows that were canceled.
So, who was Almost Human? Who was in that one?
Almost Human
Above and
was
Beyond.
Carl Urban. It was Carl Urban, who's a cop in the ever so slight future when there are essentially androids that
Almost
are
Human.
and it's the story takes place when this cop who doesn't like androids, who doesn't trust androids because one kind of cost him his leg, right? And he now has like a fucking android leg because he gives his
iRobot.
very iRobot-esque. Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's 100% inspired by iRobot. No doubt about it.
He's Bones
And-
from the new Star Trek. Right?
Yeah. And he gets a new partner who's a fucking robot, who's an android.
Yeah.
And I think it
Kind
only,
of a-
now they filmed 13 episodes, but didn't they only air like 8?
I'm not sure. It's
Did they ever say why it got canceled?
Because it's
Fox.
Fox. That's why. 'Cause Fox owns
they
everything.
canceled 2 really popular shows that season to make room for a new singing and dancing show.
No,
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Too bad
And what- you know what
someone else
sucks?
didn't
You know
pick
what
it up,
sucks?
though.
You know what sucks is they dropped 2 shows at the same time, both of which were good, by the way. Almost Human and Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow was
I love Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, like Sleepy Hollow.
they kept Sleepy Hollow and dumped Almost Human. And as much as I really did like Sleepy Hollow, it was a good show. Almost Human was the better of the 2 shows.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
It was one of your the other show that got canceled was at one of these police drama, I think, or fire something drama shows.
Okay, yeah, I don't care about those, but
Yeah.
But it had a lot of good ratings, though. It's well done. But
those cost money with actors and props and costumes and shit. And the dance shows don't cost shit, but a stage, right? And an audience.
And they get high ratings. The crappy reality singing dance shows get super high ratings.
Yeah, they get high ratings. They cost almost nothing to make.
That's why Night Strike quit doing Hit or Miss and started doing that singing and dancing show that he does.
Right.
Well, in his defense, it's still called Hit or Miss. But now Fox has backed it, and it's on Fox on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central. So
yeah, no, it's not.
People sing with a costume on, and it's a costume of an old World War I.
Oh my
World
God!
War II gun.
Yeah. And the prize, everybody gets a blue dress. It's great.
Oh, ouch!
That gets lost.
Like
too far.
Yep.
I'd like to throw a show out there.
All right. I want to go through this list. I want to go through this list. Because we've already mentioned some that are on my list. We talked about SGU.
I got some.
I with my list. God damn it! We talked about Almost Human.
Keep going through your list.
Firefly is the obvious one that everybody knows about, right? Like everybody knows Firefly was cut short. That's the most famous one out there. I want to talk about some other ones that I think were cut short that were genuinely good shows, sci-fi shows, or sci-fi adjacent in some cases, that I think either were canceled too soon or are right to like pick up again and run with, where you could like start, you could start these stories again. Like a Netflix could come along and be like, all right, we're gonna start doing this show again, or whatever the situation is. Now, and I may be the only one here who actually watched this show. I don't know, but I was actually, while the first season got off to a little bit of a rocky start, by the end of the second season, I was fully on board with this show, and that was Krypton. And I was not really sold on this show because it made so many drastic changes to Superman lore and mythos and all this stuff, right?
So this is a show about the planet?
About the planet Krypton. The main character in the show is Kal-El's grandfather. Okay, so it takes place before Jor-El's even born. Right? And the premise of the show is that there's been some time travel shenanigans and someone is trying to go back and prevent Superman from ever being born.
When was this on?
This was on about 4 or 5 years ago, and it got 2 seasons. I don't remember it.
Who was the
I don't remember
actor?
this either.
A lot of people I can't name, but you would recognize most of the people in there because they've all been in other stuff.
Okay.
A lot of British actors. Most of the people.
Did you say it was a real like who made it?
Sci-Fi Channel.
Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay, that's usually pretty good stuff.
Kind of Terminator.
The premise was like, and basically the premise starts off with like Adam Strange goes back in time and ends up on Krypton and meets Jor-El's father, who I'm blanking on his name at the moment, who's the main character, and is like, hey, you're going to have a grandson one day who's essentially going to be like the savior of the universe, and somebody's trying to prevent him from being born. And it starts this whole thing of like, lots of changes. And so there is a lot of differences between a lot of the stuff I know about Superman and what's going on because somebody's messing with time and has gone back to Krypton and like changed things. But I will say, a lot of good shit in it. Brainiac is in it and is done fantastically well. Best interpretation of Doomsday I've ever seen outside of the comic books was in that show. Even Lobo was in an episode, and he was pretty fucking great.
Sheriff Lobo?
Yeah, Sheriff Lobo. That's exactly what I'm talking about. No, Lobo from DC Comics was in this show and was done pretty damn well. Like, they did a good job with Lobo. Very, very comic book accurate. And it got canceled after 2 seasons, just as they were starting to really dig into the Brainiac storyline.
Nobody was watching it, I guess.
If anybody wants to watch it, so I'm trying to be vague and not give away specific story plots and things like that. But very good show, done very well. It was kind of it was a little off-putting to me, like I said at the beginning, just because, like, okay, I'm love Superman, grew up on Superman, and they're like instantly going back to Superman's grandfather and changing a bunch of shit that we know to be kind of the mythos of Krypton and Jor-El and Kal-El and all this shit. But again,
Found it on a private movie theater.
That's because somebody went back and changed time. I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was very good. It did get off to a rough start. The first season, the first few episodes of season 1 are a little rough, and you can tell the show's trying to get its bearings. But by the end of the first season, I was fully on board with this show. I thought it was very good. I thought they did a great job. Another show that I know several of us in here have watched, Night Strike. We've talked about it many times.
Oh yeah.
Shows canceled too soon. Dark Matter on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, I liked Dark Matter. That was
Dark
really
Matter
good.
was a great show that ended on a fucking cliffhanger.
Oh, Quinn's still here.
Quinn is here. Good, Quinn's here. Now I don't remember what I was asking Quinn, but
You were asking about doing a live stream at the shop.
oh yeah,
Stop.
do a live stream from Quinn's shop some one of these days. He's gonna be like, hell no. What?
Yeah, no,
But
Quinn.
When
we're
was
gonna talk
Dark
about
Matter
that.
on? When was Dark Matter on?
But Dark Matter was when did Dark Matter? It was like 2014-ish. That was something like that.
It
2014.
was a while ago, yeah.
3 seasons. I think it got 3 seasons before it got canceled.
So here's one that can't be on your list anymore because it was so much on your list that people brought it back. And I've been told that it's really, really good. Futurama. Like the new season of Futurama that just came out. I have heard really good things about it, and people are like, dude, you need to watch it. It's fucking great.
Yes, I haven't watched all of it yet. I watched the first 2 episodes of the new season, and it's classic Futurama. So if you like Futurama, you're gonna love it. Yeah.
Dark Matter was 2015 to 2017.
2015, 20, yeah, so 3 seasons. I will say that I actually really, really liked the way the last season of Futurama ended with them growing old and the universe was frozen and all that stuff. I thought that was a fantastic end of the show. And this kind of just wipes that all away. And I mean, I get it. It wiped it all away because at the end, the professor showed up and saved them and they got to go back in time and relive their lives again. And this just kind of starts off with them doing that and kind of erases the significance of that series finale that we got last time, which I thought was a great series finale for Futurama. So, but it's classic Futurama. The first 2 episodes I watched were really good. It's classic, exactly what you would expect from Futurama.
Indeed.
So, I thought it was good. Okay. Anyway, Dark Matter, great show, fantastic. Cut off too soon. Definitely should have been allowed to go on. There was a lot of life in that show, and it just got just completely jacked, in my opinion. The next show I think got canceled too soon. Some people will say, "What? It got 5 seasons." I still say it was canceled too soon, and that's The Expanse.
Agreed. Hard agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good show.
There was plenty of material, plenty of books to continue that continue the story. I think where the show ends is what, book 2 or 3? 3, right? Book 3 is where the show ends. And there's plenty of other books after book 3 that the show could have continued. And I know they left it in a way in which it could continue. And it still could. It's a show that's ripe to bring back, I think, because the book's still a lot of story left to tell in the Expanse universe. I thought the show was done very, very well. There was one season, was it season 3 or 4? I can't remember. That was a little lackluster. That kind of just was like, I don't know, the storyline just wasn't as good as the previous seasons or the ones that came after. It was still really good, but just not as good as the rest of the seasons. But most of the show was absolutely fantastic. Like really, really good. Done beautifully.
Who was your favorite character in that show?
I liked what's her face, the chick with the mohawk. I'm blanking on her name.
Okay.
Naomi.
Yeah, the Belter girl.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah,
she was the best character.
I liked the Martian
good too.
Martian pilot. Yeah, the Martian.
I believe she was one of the ones that led the charge to get that one actor fired, though. the actress in real life is, I think, kind of shitty.
Stupid shit, but
Next.
but anyway, next up, a show that I think is infinitely what do you call it? A rebootable, not a rebootable, but like continuable. That's not a word, but I just made it a word, so everybody deal with it. And even though the last season was arguably horrible, I think the concept for the show and the characters and everything could absolutely be brought back today, and you could keep the show going. And that is Sliders.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, agreed.
Sliders is a show you could pick up and just start now and just say, hey, yeah, it's been 20 years. And
do you start it with the same people, or do you put a new crew in there?
You put a new crew.
Oh, you put new people in it. You could. I mean, technically, you could bring back like Jerry O'Connell and shit. You certainly could.
You put it still with cameos from the old crew. That's what you do.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see them like basically resurrect Jerry O'Connor's character because they basically kind of
and they
kill him
certainly
off.
could. I mean, it's a sci-fi show. They could do all kinds of stuff, like what they did in the 5th season, which is like combine him and another dude into another actor. So they could certainly figure out a way to undo that and bring back Jerry O'Connor.
I think it's actually Jerry O'Connor's brother. Actually, he turned into his brother.
Well, no, because his brother was on the 4th season. It was both of them together. They found his brother on another planet. They were
Jerry O'Connell's real life brother.
Yeah, that was his real life brother. His real life brother played his brother on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were both in season 4 together. And then in season 5, they both left the show, and they replaced him with another actor who was supposed to be Quinn Mallory of a different world, and somehow that Quinn Mallory got merged with the Quinn Mallory we know, and that explains why he looks different. But it's just because Jerry O'Connell left the show, so they had to explain what happened to Quinn. They're like, oh, he got merged with an alternate version of himself who looks completely different. So that's how they explained it, why he wasn't on the show anymore. And again, arguably that 5th season was not good. I mean, there was some okay stuff in it. There was some okay episodes, but overall it was not good. But it's absolutely a show you could pick up again today. Continue that Sliders storyline. You can bring back Jerry O'Connell. You can even bring back blanking on his name, the guy that played the professor, who's still around.
John Rhys Davies.
Like
he was in the new Indiana Jones movie too.
Yeah. The dude's still around. Like there's so many characters you could bring back, or you could just start fresh and say, this is, new characters that have that technology. Like Sliders was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
It's probably top 5 sci-fi shows of all time for me.
And that last season it didn't end on a good note.
I ignore the last season. I pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do is just
do that.
When you're watching the show, just stop at the end of season 4 and don't watch anymore. That's what you should do.
I did that with the Vegas franchise.
Yeah. So I love the show. I think it was canceled too soon, and I get why it was canceled. Don't get me wrong. I mean, basically the entire main cast of the show had left and been replaced by different characters, and the showrunners left the show, and most of the writers left the show, and it really wasn't even the same show anymore outside of just the concept of going to multiple realities.
Rembrandt was the only person left from the original series.
He was the only one.
So when those shows get killed or whatever, for whatever reasons they end or whatever, like the people own them, right? Like how often is it that they don't come back because the people that own it can't figure it out or won't figure it out? Like it should, but they won't or can't get it made.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, honestly. So,
what about Farscape?
Yeah,
Farscape is another one on the list that.
Well, they have the Peacekeeper Wars.
I will say this about Farscape: the Peacekeeper Wars did provide a good ending to it. Now that does not mean you couldn't bring it back. You absolutely could bring the show back.
I would love to see them pick up with Aaron's and Crichton's child.
Yeah.
You have to realize the Peacekeeper Wars basically just was it solidified that Crichton, even though he was out there, he couldn't go back to Earth because of everything he experienced in space.
Yeah.
He couldn't go back, otherwise all that evil would follow him.
Yeah, and like I said,
Yeah, I really know how that feels.
Could be continued,
That's why
but
I didn't shoot 9mm.
I do think that it did get a good ending. But you absolutely could still continue it.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, they pick up like new stories with like their child, Dargo's son, having him like have a child, and he'll be more of an adult Luxon now.
Yeah. You can do so much with that show. It was such a fantastic.
Is this show shows that were canceled too soon, or shows that could be
both?
Both.
It's both. It's both. Shows
Farscape got canceled way too soon at a cliffhanger than they did the Peacekeeper Wars movie because there's so much demand. It's basically the first Firefly type thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Because people were pissed they canceled the show. It was by far one of the best things that Sci-Fi Channel had ever done to that date.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, they canceled it not just on just any cliffhanger, a pretty goddamn big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, man. Crank out one more episode to finish the cliffhanger, even if you're going to cancel it. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, Farscape was such a damn good show and left the door open to easily come back into that world and do more stories that you could absolutely have a fantastic continuation of that story. So that's definitely one of the big ones. Now, here's one on the list that I don't know if you would consider this sci-fi, and I don't know if I'm the only one who saw this show. I don't know. And they did a British version that lasted 1 season. They did an American version that lasted 2 seasons. I thought both were very good. I would be okay with either one of those being, rebooted or brought back or anything like this. And again, I don't know if you would consider this sci-fi, but it's definitely genre television. And that's this show called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen that one?
I love that one.
Never
Isn't
heard
it
of
a
it.
great show, Night Strike?
It was a great
It was
show.
a brilliant. Now, have you seen the British
Say what
version?
it is
or the
again.
American version?
I've only seen the American version.
Okay,
What's it
there's a British version that came out about 3 or 4 years before the American version. Now, it only got 1 season, but that 1 season is great. That's where they got the American version from.
Okay.
The American version did get 2 seasons that were both great. It's this weird show about this character called Dirk Gently, who is kind of like a psychic, and he has this weird ability to connect things together in a weird way that nobody else can. And it's just and like he hires an assistant who in the American version is played by Elijah Wood, who's like the normal guy who just is looking for a job and gets hired on as the assistant to this detective who turns out to basically be kind of crazy.
So it's on private movie theater. It looks like it's what's that movie? The comedy with the detectives.
It's adjacent to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If I'm not
Well, yeah,
mistaken,
because it's written by what's his name? The guy that wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
It's written by Douglas Adams. It's and it's a series of books, is what it is. And the American version, British version, either way you go, fantastic show, fantastic concept. The shit that the main characters find themselves in, which is this constant stream of like weird, strange things, people body swapping and government, intelligence agents with psychic powers and all this weird, crazy stuff that somehow is all connected into these giant conspiracies. And it was a fantastic show. And absolutely, it's the kind of show you could just keep doing, right? Because there's always another story to tell of some other weird case that
Is it like Psych? That's what I was thinking of. Psych.
No, well, except it's real. Like, Psych was a fake psychic, but
I mean, is it like a buddy kidding around like that kind of
kind of like a buddy detective show, except they get involved in really, really
It just
weird.
really looks like the cover of the show looks like the cover of Psych. That's why.
Yeah. And it's very similar to that. And it's got a lot of that same humor, except the stuff they get involved in isn't just like typical murder of the week. You know, it's like they're dealing with government conspiracies and, you know, psychic bad guys that can body swap with people and like weird stuff. It's like if the two guys from Psych, one of them really was psychic and they got involved with like X-File level cases.
Yeah.
That's kind of a, I guess, simple way to describe it. Anyway, it was a great show. Highly recommend it. Now, the next show I'm going to talk about here is one of the shows that has pissed me off for about 25 years that it got canceled. It got canceled after one season. And this was a show that I don't know how many people have seen it. Do you guys remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, sci-fi, or not sci-fi, Showtime was doing Sci Fridays? Does anybody remember this? And again, you had to have Showtime in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I remember that.
So on Friday nights they had kind of a rotating kind of thing of sci-fi shows they were putting out, mostly bolstered by the fact that they had The Outer Limits, which they had done throughout most of the 90s. And that Outer Limits show in the 90s was fucking top notch. We've talked about that on the show before. And so it kind of led them to like start looking for other sci-fi shows to do. And there was one in particular that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend people check it out, but just be aware it ends on a cliffhanger after the first season and it never comes back. And so if you can't deal with that, don't watch it, I guess. But it was a show called Odyssey 5 starring Peter Weller. And the concept is Peter Weller is an astronaut. Also, so is his son. And him and his crew are on this mission. They're on a shuttle mission in the first episode. And in the very first episode, they see Earth completely obliterated. Like the planet blows up in front of them while they're in space. Okay? And then something happens and they wake up 5 years earlier. And they all remember what they saw. They all remember the next 5 years. They all remember when they were on this mission and they saw the Earth blow up. And so now they've got 5 years to try and figure out what happened and how to prevent it. They don't know what sent them back in time. They don't know what destroyed the Earth. They don't have a clue. They just know it happened. And they know they're not crazy because everybody on that crew, I think there's 5 characters that were the crew of the space shuttle mission. They all remember it. And now they're 5 years in the past. It was a phenomenal show.
It looks like you can get full episodes on YouTube.
Great in it. Like getting him to come in and be the lead on a television show at a time when, and I get it, Peter Weller was never like an A-list celebrity or anything, but like still, this was back in the early 2000s when celebrities weren't doing that. People who had been in movies weren't then going and doing television shows. And so getting him to be the lead in that show at that time was awesome. And it's a really, really good show that got canceled after the first season on a damn cliffhanger. And it kills me to this day. I've got the show on DVD. That's how much I love this show. I went and bought it on DVD, even though you can stream it now. But
I would argue the point that Peter Weller is an A-lister because, I mean, he's one of the most recognizable actors. Not to mention the fact he was in, I think it was either The Abyss or Deep Star 6. He was in TV shows. He was in, he's been in, what was that? The one about that country detective up in Wyoming.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm
all over the place.
He's not Harrison Ford. He's not,
Yeah, okay.
Pick your poison, right? Like, I would say maybe he's B-list, right? Now, since then, although he's gone on, like, he's actually a very famous director now. He directs movies and television and produces and does a bunch of stuff. And so we don't hear much about him anymore because he's behind the camera. But he has had a very good career. But at the time, again, getting somebody from the movies to do television was just not a common thing like it is today. You know what I mean? So, anyway, show was fantastic. Absolutely urge you, if you're watching this show because you like geek stuff, like this is a show you should check out sometime. It's streaming on F Movies. It's
I didn't see it there.
Oh, it's not? Oh, wow.
No,
Well,
but I found full episodes on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, right? Very, very good show. Very well done. Highly recommend it. But yeah, canceled too soon, and it really, really pissed me off. And I guess I'm the only one who's watched it. That's fine. So I'm just like preaching.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, to learn about new stuff.
What show is it?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do I need to just redo the whole last 10 minutes again, Corey?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, it's a show called Odyssey 5 from early 2000s. So
Hey, I haven't been paying attention for like 30 minutes. Can you just like start over 30 minutes ago?
no.
What's the next one?
Next one I've got here is
I was in the bathroom. What are we talking about?
No, we're not doing this again. A show that got 2 seasons, was on Fox, then got canceled. It kind of did get an ending, but it was a Fox ending because like they knew they were canceling
Fox
it.
doesn't do endings.
Wasn't a very good ending, but it was a really good show. This was a Joss Whedon show called Dollhouse. How many people seen this?
That was good, yes.
It was a very good show. Great
Yeah.
show, as a matter of fact.
Was it the one with Elijah Dushku, or however you say your name?
Yeah, Elijah.
She was a prostitute.
And I was going to say something, but it's really, really mean, and so I'm not going to say it, and some people would be offended by it, but never mind.
Oh, heaven
Maybe
forbid.
off air I'll say something, but where was that going? I don't know.
Now I just
No, it was a good one. It was like
what you had to say.
it was a follow-up to Buffy, essentially.
Well, I mean, it kind of. I mean, it was his follow-up to Buffy and Angel, but it doesn't have anything to do with Buffy and Angel. It's kind of
after those shows ended, it was on.
Yeah. It was a slightly futuristic, like, you know, for the time, like, oh, maybe 10 years in the future. Is a situation where people who were trying to, you know, either they owed a debt, or they were trying to get out of prison, or they had done something wrong and they were trying to pay back for it. They would go to this company, and I'm trying to be very vague here, because if you want to watch it, highly recommend it. It's a great show. And you would go to there was this company who would essentially erase your memories and implant personalities into you, and then use you for different things, for their own purposes. And you didn't know what.
Oh, that's right. And then you got paid at the end.
Knew was that you were under, like, let's say a 5-year contract, and you didn't know, like, at the end of 5 years, you wouldn't remember what you had done for 5 years. You know what I mean? And so anyway, in the midst of all this, the main character, played by Elijah Dushku, is starts to figure out what's going on, and there's obviously a bigger conspiracy and more. You know, I don't want to get into it. There's a lot to it. It's very involved. It's almost kind of like a sci-fi spy mystery thriller conspiracy, all rolled up into one.
But like you say, it was individual episodes that stood alone, but then there was bigger stuff that was happening throughout the season, right? And then the show.
Yeah. Yep. And it was done very well.
Essentially, she just dressed up as a different hot chick every week and did some kind of dance.
You would recognize a lot of the actors in that show too.
Oh yeah, like the chick.
Almost every
chick,
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she played on 300, I think, and the guy that played Victor, he was on The Walking Dead for a couple of episodes.
One of the actresses too is in the Altered Carbon first season. She plays the sister of the main character.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a very good sci-fi show. Highly recommended.
Altered Carbon season 2 was crap.
Oh, it was so bad. It was
Oh, yeah.
so bad. And you know what? And I almost put Altered Carbon on this list. I didn't because of that season 2. The first season of Altered Carbon was fucking fantastic. Like it was really,
Yes.
really.
You know what happened with season 2? They got rid of everybody, like it's in production and stuff like that, and hired CW directors.
And here's the thing: I like Anthony Mackie. He was the wrong choice to replace what's his face from the first season. He could not even act like the same character. It's just not him. He was acting like a completely different person.
Is that off a video game?
No, it's off a book series.
Oh. And you're saying it was not worth watching.
First season was so good. So good.
So good. Yeah.
Second season was so bad.
So bad.
Very, very bad.
Probably
literally night and day.
Probably one of the worst transitions from 2 different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It makes season 5 of Sliders look like a masterpiece.
Yes, it does actually, which is really, really bad. Which should tell you something, and that's why I couldn't put it on this list. Like the concept is really cool, and like if they wanted to reboot it and do new stories and that kind of thing, I'd be down for it. But I don't want to see that story continued at all. I don't
Speaking
want
of bad, Dollhouse, the ending of it was so bad. I honestly don't remember, but I remember a lot about what happened throughout the rest of the series.
And it was a really good show. I even with the bad ending, I still recommend people watch it.
Oh,
and
hell
it's
yeah.
still a show that you could continue the story today.
Yeah, even if you chose different characters, I mean, you could still come back.
Yeah.
Well, they could pick it up as another facility doing the same thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Elijah did, fairly well in it.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah, coming off of Buffy and Angel and stuff, where I didn't really care for her too much on those shows, but I mean, she did really well in that show.
Yep. All right, next show I've got on my list is a show called, I don't know if anybody remembers this. This was maybe late 2000s. I don't remember exactly. Only got one season. I don't remember what network this was on. It probably only got like 12 or 13 episodes, got canceled. But it was actually a really good show. A lot of potential to keep going. It's a show called Journeyman.
Yes, I liked that one.
Where it's essentially like, okay, so he is a guy.
He's shifting through time.
He's shifting through time against his
remember
will.
that.
Like he can't control it, he can't predict it. And it was a thing where the show starts, it's in San Francisco, and he's like a reporter or something, and this was a thing that used to happen to him a lot when he was younger, but hasn't happened to him in a long time. And so now he's gotten married and settled down, and he thinks that this shifting through time thing is never going to happen to him again. But then it starts happening again. And then not only on top of that, but the woman that he used to love, played by Moon Bloodgood, who also shifts through time as well, she shows back up even though he thought she was dead. And so now it's like this ongoing story to figure out what's shifting him through time. And it kind of feels a little Quantum Leap-ish. Like,
yes, I remember the show now.
He's not jumping into other people's bodies, but it seems like every time he jumps in time, he has to do something so he can go back, you know? And very, very good show. Cool concept. Again, very Quantum Leap-ish. Not exactly.
I wonder what happened to that show.
Well, it's more like a supernatural type time travel than it is really science fiction. But time travel itself is science fiction, so we're going with that.
And it was really, really good. Even though it got canceled prematurely, I still recommend people check it out because it was good enough to still enjoy what was put out there.
Yeah.
Matt, a little change of subject. These are for your Aquaman.
What? Wait, what?
These are for your Aqualad.
Oh, sweet! Where'd you get those?
They're supposed to come with it, so I have extras. I bought several back in the day for fodder.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
They're like water made out. They're supposed to be made out of water.
Water weapons.
And it's got the same hilt as like what goes in his backpack.
Out of his back, yeah.
Yeah.
Matt's
they really should be painted. They really should be painted, but once they're in their grips, but you'll never see them.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I don't have those, so that's really cool.
Matt's
I think it came with like one of each style, but I'm gonna give you two so you can dual wield.
So you can dual wield. Yeah, I've got him. He's like up on my shelf right there. So,
So let me ask you something, Matt. This particular TV series that you're talking about, would you say that it's the one that put Moon Bloodgood on the map? Because she ended up coming out in one of the Terminator series.
Terminator, yeah, she was in Terminator Salvation. Yes, I would. This was the first thing I ever saw her in.
Right.
Yeah,
she was in Fallen Skies too, wasn't she?
Fallen
she
Skies.
was.
Yeah,
Fallen
she was.
Skies, yeah. But Journeyman was the first thing I personally ever saw her in. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a great show.
Too.
Highly recommend it. Another great show, very similar in what happened to it, in that it got one season and then got canceled. Does anybody remember the show Flash Forward?
Yes. That
Yes, I remember
actually
that.
pissed me off that it got canceled. I love that show.
Fucking pissed me off too. This show was really, really good. Like
Yes,
really,
it was.
really exceptionally good. Now it was a network show. So the cool thing about it being a network show was that it did get like a full 22 episodes or something like that. So that's better than a lot of these shows we're talking about that got like 8 to 13 episodes. So there is more of it. Full hour-long episodes. And this was like NBC or ABC or something. I don't remember. And the concept of it was pretty cool in that, like, one day everybody on the face of planet Earth passed out all at the same time.
Yep.
Okay? Everybody passed out for the exact same amount of time all over the planet. And for a split second during this period of time, everybody sees their own future in 6 months. Everybody sees what's going to happen to them in 6 months.
Right.
And everybody wakes up, and obviously the world is in chaos. And so it kind of centers around this, I don't remember where, maybe like the LA branch of the FBI, and some of these characters. Well, some of the characters like actually saw things 6 months into the future that lead them to start to investigate what caused this, because they're actually seeing things in 6 months that, you know, have to do with why everybody on the planet lost consciousness all at the same time, right? And I don't want to give it away because it's a big mystery show. I mean, the whole point of it is figuring out the mystery of this stuff.
I see what happened. One of the main characters, Peyton, actress played by Peyton List. She always gets one season. Every show she's on, she gets one
Peyton List, who's that?
You see her, you'll recognize her.
I know that name. I'm trying to remember who that is.
Isn't that that Disney actress or? Oh, her. Yeah.
Well, anyway, needless to say, the show was actually really, really good.
It was. I enjoyed it.
It ends, of course, on a pretty big cliffhanger.
Yep.
And then got canceled, which is endlessly frustrating. However, it is one of the shows that not only could you pick up and bring it back, but it's a show that I still think, even though it ends on a cliffhanger, which I hate watching shit that I know is going to end on a cliffhanger, I still think it's good enough that it's worth watching.
Yeah, because they could bring
It's
it
really,
back
really well
and
done.
act like, you know, another flash forward happened and everyone passes out again, you know, or something to that effect.
So if you watch a show that, like an hour-long show that's about somebody slipping backwards in time, and then you watch an hour-long show about flash forwarding in time, is that a wash? And you actually got to watch both those shows in no amount of time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have to like, you've come kind of evened out there at that point. Yeah.
That's how you live
You
forever.
watch both
You
shows.
just same time forever by going backwards and forwards in time constantly.
Yeah.
I see Peyton List here. She's got one of those faces like, oh, I've seen her before. She's kind of like a poor man's Hayden Panettiere.
All right, so we're getting through the list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows left. All right. Next one, I don't know. I may have been the only person that actually liked this show. If I was, let me know. But I actually really liked the Netflix show Jupiter's Legacy.
You're the only one.
I actually really liked that first season. Now, I did start to read the comics. I did read the first 3 or 4 issues of the comics. So I was familiar with it. It's Frank Quietly, and I forget who was his writing partner on that one, but it was based on a comic book. I thought the first season of the show was actually done really, really well. You can still watch it on Netflix. And essentially, it's kind of like in a universe kind of very similar to DC, where back in the 1920s or 30s, I don't remember exactly when, a group of explorers end up going to this island. And they're like archaeologists and things like that. And they end up going to this island where they discover something that gives them all powers. Like, we're talking, there's a character that's very Superman-esque, and there's a character that's very Wonder Woman-esque, and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And the show primarily focuses, it's modern day now, and it focuses on their children. But because they have powers, they've lived a long time, so they don't look as old as they actually are. And it focuses on their kids, who are like the next generation of superheroes, essentially. But you know, they were raised like spoiled brats because their parents are obviously superheroes and their parents are rich and famous. And so their kids are like entitled, spoiled assholes. Anyway, I don't want to give away the show, but it's a superhero show. It was on Netflix. It got one season. I thought it was really good. I thought the story was done well. I liked the actors. They got to portray all the characters in the show. And again, while I started reading the comic, I didn't go through the whole series. So I don't know if there was any major deviations from the source material to the show. But overall, I thought the show was done very, very well. But it deserved to get more seasons to finish the story out. But I will say that the 10 episodes that came out were pretty good. I enjoyed them quite a bit. And I thought they did a good job on that. So just throwing that out there. Again, I was probably the only one that watched it. Now, this show I know everybody in here has watched, and I know everybody in here has talked about endlessly how you could continue this show. And while it is not expressly sci-fi, I feel it deserves to be on this list because it's one of the greatest shows I've ever watched in my life. Everybody knows what I'm talking about now at this point. This, of course, is Jericho. Jericho is a fantastic show that
never heard of it.
Deserves to continue on. That absolutely, whether you pick it up and say, "Oh, it's been 10 years since the last episode, and this is what the United States looks like now after the nuclear war."
I was actually just talking to my wife about that.
Matt, it totally fits the description of sci-fi because it's post-apocalyptic sci-fi.
Yes, exactly. This show is phenomenal. It is still worth watching to this day. It ended on a kind of cliffhanger-esque, kind of not, kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
we're talking 2006 Jericho. There's a 2016 Jericho about the Old West. It's a different show.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the post-apocalyptic one.
Post-apocalyptic, takes place in Jericho, Kansas, after a nuclear strike in the United States.
Yep.
A false flag.
And the best part is the show came out in 2006 before all the 2012 Aztec calendar. Let's capitalize on preppers and end of the world, and all the shows got really weird and kind of sell out. This was one of the shows that's
way before that.
Yeah.
And we all aspire to be Robert Hawkins.
Yes,
exactly. Hawkins, also known as Morgan on The Walking Dead. First time I ever saw him in anything.
Yeah, no shit.
And it was a fantastic show. It did technically get an ending. It got canceled after one season, but people freaked out so much that they gave it an 8-episode second season to kind of try and finish off the story.
And they still didn't do it right.
And I mean, look, it was still Jericho, and I still enjoyed the second season. I still liked it. It wasn't as good as the first season, but I still liked it. There was stuff that, now I will say, there was stuff they built up in that second season, like the Republic of Texas and all the different political stuff going on, that was done really, really well. That really set the stage for the reason why I say you can continue this show.
I agree.
So
didn't they technically finish it off in a comic?
They did do a comic. I've never read the comic, so I don't know what happened in it. Don't really care.
Because of a civil war.
Come back as a TV show.
There's a piece of media having to do with a universe that's not real that you haven't read or seen.
Exactly. Yes,
I am surprised. I'm surprised and disappointed. Slightly disgusted.
Yeah, you should be.
Get over it. Do get over it. It'll pass soon.
All right. So anyway, Jericho, we've talked about this many times
Ad
in
nauseam,
my
yeah.
13 years on YouTube. So everybody knows that one. So we'll leave it at that. Next show that absolutely should have been continued and was phenomenal in its first season before once again Fox canceled it was Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This
And
was an
canceled at a
amazing-
cliffhanger too.
Canceled on a cliffhanger. Amazing show. They got great actors to portray Sarah Connor and John Connor. They did a fantastic job playing those characters.
I did hate
them, but I could handle different actors.
Technically, the series was like a sequel to 2.
Yeah. Summer Glau, native of my hometown of San Antonio, Texas, also was in the Firefly franchise.
And they even worked in the storyline too. They did a time jump to keep the apocalypse didn't happen at this date, so they pushed it forward.
Yep. It was so good. It was so well done. To this day, again, just like all the shows on here. All the shows on here, even the ones that ended in a cliffhanger, are so good. I still recommend you go and watch them.
The only thing I did not like about Sarah Connor Chronicles, it's hard to say, is the unceremonious way they killed off his uncle. I mean, it was just a meaningless death. It's just pop.
Yeah.
Be such a main character of the show, then gone. And that's probably that actor's probably one of those best roles.
Yeah. But still, fantastic show. Highly recommend. And they absolutely should continue that today. I don't know how they could, really. They'd have to get completely different actors. But I don't know. It was a great show.
But it was a girl Terminator again, or
there was a girl Terminator in it, yes, but she was good.
No, I'm saying, but you're saying do the show with the girl Terminator.
Yeah, it was the only Terminator show we've ever had. But yeah,
one of the things too, like a little informational tidbit. The reason why they weren't T800s, they couldn't legally use T800s. That's why they invented the new T850s.
Yeah.
The slightly more advanced ones, like Summer Glau.
Yeah. Anyway, great show. Canceled too soon. Next show on this list, guess what? Also something Fox canceled, and that's the show called Terra Nova. Did y'all ever see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Terra Nova. Great show. So for those that don't know the premise, it's in the future. I don't know, the world's trashed or something. So to save some people, they figured out time travel, okay? And they figure out how to send people back in the far, far past prehistoric times where there are some people can survive and try and save humanity because it's like the end of the world or whatever. And they've already sent some people back to go and kind of lay the groundwork. And we start in the second group that's getting sent back. And the main character, was he a cop or something? I don't remember.
Something like that.
Something like that. And he gets sent back with his family. His wife's a doctor. He's got his kid. He's a cop. He gets sent back, and they go back in time to prehistoric times where there's this community being built up to try and be the future of humanity in the past. And of course, it's typical prehistoric stuff. There's dinosaurs and things like that. But something that was getting teased throughout the whole first season before it got canceled was that there were aliens in the past on Earth, or proof that aliens were around, and they had something to do with humanity or humanity's past or something. It was this big mystery that was being built up through the whole first season. Stephen Lang, by the way, was in it. He played the general. That was one of the first people that got sent back in time to kind of watch over this, civilization that was being built up as they sent more people back in time. And Stephen Lang was great. He was basically playing kind of a similar character to what he played in Avatar, but not as a bad guy. And was really, really well done. Was a great show. A lot of fun.
I like it.
I thought it was canceled. Again, if you notice, half the shows we're talking about here were canceled by Fox, by the way.
Yeah. I know of one that's canceled by ABC. Forever.
Is that the one with Reed Richards in it?
Yep. Or he's an immortal.
I've never watched that show, but I've been
good.
told it was very good.
Yeah, it was very good and only got one season.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it's a very good show, but I've never watched it. Yeah, something like he's immortal, can't die, or when he does die, he comes right back to life or something.
Yeah.
And he's it's modern day New York, and he works in a morgue, right?
He's a forensic pathologist.
There you go. Yeah. I've heard about this show. I've never watched it. Never seen it, but I've heard lots of good things. All right, final show on my list, and then we're done, people. Then we're done. Final show on my list, Sci-Fi Channel show. I think it got 3 seasons. I think it was 3. Was it 3 or 4? I don't remember. Somebody can remind me. That I thought was really good, really well done. Defiance.
Yeah.
Defiance was a great show.
Oh, you could imagine the Defiance if it was on something like HBO or something that had like a big budget.
Yeah,
and it did. It didn't have a huge budget, but it was still so well done.
Yeah,
the makeup and the costumes and everything was so well done that I just loved it. And of course, it ends on a cliffhanger. Like most of these shows do. I will say Defiance did something, and we've talked about this before, but they did something that no show had ever done before and no show has done since, which is it tied directly into a video game. There was a Defiance video game you could buy. I had it on Xbox 360, and it was kind of an open world game.
Yep.
And the game would actually get updates and change as new things happened on the show.
Oh,
and so there'd be new missions and side quests and things that would happen and change based on what was happening on the television show week to week. And it was really cool.
The game also allowed you to play with your friends, as if you were one group going through the whole mission. Too.
It was a really, really cool, innovative concept that nobody's done it since. Nobody had done it before. Nobody's done it since. I don't know why, especially with technology the way it is, like just everything going on. You think if they were doing this back in the early 2010s, why they haven't done that now, I don't know. But it was a really cool crossover of geekdom between sci-fi show and sci-fi video games and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they did a really good job. But the show itself was really, really good. A solid show, great characters. I guess you could look at the ending as kind of a cliffhanger, kind of an ending. It could serve as both. It was an ending, but it also left doors open for some of the storylines and one character in particular. But you still, unlike a lot of the other shows that just straight up ended on a cliffhanger, like Sarah Connor Chronicles, right? You could watch this show and at least feel like over those 3 or 4 seasons that you got a complete story. So I think it's still worth watching. But the cool thing about it is, like, you could also you could pick it up right now. You could just say it's 10 years later in this same world, and like that main character could come back. Where the cliffhanger, and I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the main characters at the end, something happens to that character, and that's kind of where the cliffhanger comes in, and you could have it to where that character's thing has been resolved, and you could start the show back up again. Very good show, great sci-fi show. As much as Sci-Fi Channel loves to cancel shit, they're not as bad as Fox, but they're pretty close. I will say this one, at least they gave it 3 or 4 seasons before they shut it down. So it got a decent little run. We got some good stories, good characters, things like that. Good overall story for the world. For those that don't know what it is, it takes place in the future. I don't remember exactly how far, like 100 years in the future or something like that, when an alien, colony craft, or not really one craft, it was multiple ships, right? It was multiple ships that were departing this other solar system, that the sun was going to go supernova or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but something was happening, and it's basically like a bunch of colony ships that crash landed on Earth at some point in the future, and it was carrying all these different species who were all fleeing from the solar system they lived in that had gone supernova or some shit, and they crash land on Earth, and because they were looking for a home, it starts terraforming the planet. And so it's now kind of it's a sci-fi post-apocalyptic show where now the Earth, we're picking up after all of that's happened, and humans are having to learn how to live with all these new alien species that are on the planet, and the planet's been partially terraformed, so the surface of the planet looks a little different, and there's new flora and fauna on the planet in addition to all these other aliens that have come to live on the planet and stuff. And so now humans are having to share the planet with all these other aliens who were looking for a home.
2046.
2046 is when it happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently in 2046, aliens come to Earth and start trying to terraform it, and then we have to learn how to live with them. But it's very post-apocalyptic, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an Old West show, because it's like civilization has started all over again. And anyway, it's a really, really cool show, cool concept, great execution, great actors, great story, well done across the board. Highly recommend it.
Good video game too.
You get a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end, but like you still feel like you got a full story at the same time. So still well worth watching if you've never seen it.
So are you putting these in order that you think they're good, like from where?
No, this is just random order. No.
Okay. So we add our list.
The good citizens of Earth need to come together and kill all the aliens.
Yeah.
Right. Not live with them.
You're gonna take all the ones that you missed in our list.
I was looking at the plot. The aliens arrived in 2013, and the aliens were the Voltons, and they were surprised that the Earth was actually inhabited.
Okay.
By the way, Matt, the proper terminology would be xenomorph.
Xenomorphs.
No, not xenomorph. Xenoform instead of terraform. Xenoform.
Okay, there you go.
Again, to the planet.
So, what about the V, the 2009 to 2011, the new version that ended, and you can't even find it anywhere.
V was. I remember watching it. I don't remember being that
Not
impressed.
The 80s, the new one.
I know.
Well, I thought the new one was pretty neat. Anyway, so I
remember. Like I said, I remember watching it. I don't remember being that impressed though by it. I love the original V.
Okay, and then Dark Angel.
Never watched Dark Angel. That's a show I never watched.
I watched it. It was all right.
Jessica
Alba. I agree with that. That TV show could have been continued.
The premise of Dark Angel is extremely flawed, though. An EMP don't last forever.
Well, it killed everything, and then people couldn't figure out how to come back exactly.
The U.S. has nuked itself by accident a few times. So.
Eureka?
They blacked out New York one time with a
Eureka is a fantastic show. However, it's not anything that I feel like got canceled too early. I mean, it got 5 seasons.
Eureka suffered from budget crunch. The last 2 seasons were very restricted.
I got 2 shorts for you, Matt. One of them was circa 1996, Space Above and Beyond. You probably heard of that. Did you ever see that one?
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
It was cool. R. Lee Ermey does a cameo in the pilot episode, so it's pretty. He's the drill sergeant that's training these Marine pilots to in their atmospheric attack jets or whatever. And then there was another one called Andromeda. Now and to be sure, Andromeda got 4 seasons, and it's part of the Star Trek Roddenberry pedigree. Yeah. Major L. Roddenberry was the executive producer.
I've seen the first 3 seasons of Andromeda. I've never seen the final season.
I've seen them.
They kind of started jumping the shark a little bit towards the end because one of the main characters, Keith Hamilton Cobb, they ended up making him the antagonist for lack of another antagonist. But they could have done. There was still way more they could have done with that. You know what I mean? There was a lot of reveals. There was a lot of characters that had some mysteries behind that they never revealed, like Transgemini. They never quite revealed who or what she was and what her purpose was. But they could have.
She's a son. She's an avatar of the sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed.
Yeah.
Her species are actually sentient suns, and what you see in person is just an avatar.
No, nice. Okay.
What really sucked with Andromeda is like the way they dealt with Tyrion Anasazi. He could have been a great antagonist for a long time, but they kind of killed him off unceremoniously after he turned bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gene Roddenberry, another show that I remember liking quite a bit, but I don't really remember how it ended, was Earth Final Conflict.
Mm.
It ended horrible.
It did.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I don't know if I didn't see the last season, or I don't remember what happened. But I certainly don't remember it if I did watch it.
At the end of the next to the last season, the two species were I can't remember the name. They were one race before, and they split off to two different factions. They merged back together into their original faction, and that new merged race became the bad guys at the final season. And they took away all the hybrids guys' powers. He was human at the end too. They brought in a new female lead who basically took over the show as the main character, and they took away all his powers, and he got kind of like sidelined. The whole thing kind of ruined his character. What made him interesting because he had all the powers of the the hell's the name of the aliens?
I don't remember. The photons. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
But it ruined basically. It's just don't watch the last season. It ruins it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember how it ended because I don't know. I might not have watched the last season at all. I don't remember, but.
So then I have another one for.
I did like it when it started. I remember from what I remember of it. I liked
the Talons. That's what I couldn't remember.
Talon. There you go.
I've got
What about Caprica from Battlestar Galactica? The
Caprica had
it was boring.
It had
it was the most
potential.
boring of them.
It was not what I would consider good.
No.
Like, it did have potential. Like, if they had kept it going, I think the show would have gotten better. It was full of great actors, by the way.
That's what I thought. It had potential, and it was the beginning of the Cylons. Like, that was awesome, but then they made it like a fucking drama.
It was one of these slow burn shows, and I get where it was building to. It was building to the first Cylon War, which I get, and would have been great had they left it going. The problem was the first season was so slow in all that buildup that people just started tuning out, so it got canceled. They really should have done more with the first season to get people excited about where it was going, and instead they just, I don't know, it was like, I don't know, they especially coming off of Battlestar Galactica, to do a prequel that was that slow of a burn, just to build up to where we know it's going, and we would have liked to have seen, but like they didn't do it right. They really didn't. It had a lot of potential, but they didn't do it right. So
well, they basically were almost like doing Ghost in the Shell type thing too, with the
right.
It just,
how much
it
of Hollywood is like, hey, my
Ghost in the
cousin,
Machine.
my cousin's a writer, so like I'm gonna be a writer too, and like he hooked me up with these people, and I'm really fucking talentless, but because I know people, I keep getting jobs, and because my name is credited on this and that, I keep getting jobs. So
that's most of Hollywood today.
Yeah, well, it's nepotism, right? It's just nepotism, and this is what you get when you get nepotism. When you have nepotism.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody seen like the Hollywood's like the studios offered to the guild that they turned down? $11,000 a week, and like that's not enough. $11,000 a week.
Wow.
What the guild
to live in California is probably not anymore.
Well, what the guild is wanting though, they want a guaranteed of every show to have a staff, a writing room of like 20 writers, getting $11,000 a week.
Yeah, no.
They said we'll do 2, and the producer can hire more.
So
here's what would happen if they did that. You think we have too many reality shows now? Wait till something like that goes through, and everything will be a fucking reality show because there will be no more scripted television. That's what'll fucking happen.
Yeah, that's what these idiots don't understand how business works. They never worked in the real world.
Nope.
You can't live on. I don't. Even in California, $11,000 a week, you can live damn comfortable.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I've got a couple,
and it's guaranteed for 9 weeks.
All right, what do you got, Nice Rick?
The first one is an animated one. It was done by Spielberg and DreamWorks. You might remember it's from the late 90s. It's called Invasion America.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, it was an animated series, but it was a sci-fi. Basically, aliens, their planet is dying. So what they decide to do is, instead of just trying to fix their planet because they're technologically advanced, they're just going to invade Earth and take Earth over. You may have seen it. You probably don't. It's called Invasion America. It was actually really, really good. Based off of a book, I think.
Well, it's not on the website.
No, it's not. I've got it if you want to see it later.
I'd be very curious. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah. But it was really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Is it 20-minute long episodes? If so, there's a whole bunch on YouTube.
You should be able to find it off YouTube.
If they're 20-minute long
it's
episodes,
like 98.
The next one.
Okay, never heard of it.
Yeah,
cool.
So it's a good one. Look it up, if you want. The other two, I mentioned these before. First Wave. It was also a sci-fi.
Oh, First Wave was great. That was the show used to come on. They did that block where we got Sliders, Farscape, and First Wave.
And I go on about it because it was the only series that used the actual history to go and insert it to make it have an interesting plot, because basically they included Nostradamus and
the Quatrains.
Yeah, the Quatrains were actually predicting the invasion from the aliens. So that was pretty good. What was the other one? The other one was they had like 3 seasons of this. It's from the late 90s too. It's called 7 Days. Remember that one?
7 Days was really good. That was UPN when they first became a network.
UPN.
Right around, it was. Remember there was. They played them back to back. It was 7 Days, and what was the other show? The Sentinel.
The Sentinel. Sentinel was good too. But the Sentinel had enough episodes. I'll be honest. Sentinel had enough.
Both those shows were really good.
Yeah.
What was 7 days? He could go backwards in times like 7 days.
Basically, they recovered the Roswell spaceship and turned it into a time machine, and they had that at Area 51.
And they could only go back 7 days. And what they could do is they took this guy, and he had to stay on the base because there was always going to be 2 of him. Because when they sent him back in time, the version of him that was there 7 days ago was still there. And so he could never like run into himself and shit. But like basically what it was is every time some big thing happened, like some big bad thing, like there was one episode where somebody set off a nuke in like Washington, D.C. or something. They would, after it happened, as soon as it happened, they would send him back in time in 7 days to stop it.
Actually, would send him back in time, but he would sync with that timeline, so he would be that version.
I thought there was always another version of him.
There wasn't another version. There was only one point in time where one of the episodes where the machine wasn't working properly, and it split him off into like the good version and an evil version of it.
And one time he got put into the Pope's body.
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
And then I remember the teaser, and I don't remember if this was ever resolved. The teaser was in the very first episode, there was a him floating dead in space in the craft.
Yeah.
That was like, did that ever get resolved? Like, that was like a big teaser in the very first episode.
I think that was one of the aborted futures.
Okay. I don't remember. It's been over 25 years since I watched that show, so
I loved it. I loved it, dude.
Yeah. Another one I liked back in the 90s was War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
War of the Worlds, a TV show.
They did a TV show.
I thought that was 80s. Wasn't that 80s? I'm pretty sure that was late 80s.
Let's see.
But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. There was
1988's episode.
Yeah. Early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
I think it only got 2 seasons, maybe?
2 seasons, and they drastically changed the show for season 2. It wasn't as good. They killed off several of the main characters at the beginning of season 2. Well, they killed off all the aliens and introduced new and more advanced aliens. The first season was so good. I don't know why they changed the formula. I guess it's just budget stuff.
I wasn't watching TV back then, I guess.
Because the new aliens didn't decay and they could easily take over bodies without like having the rot stuff happen to them. It's the aliens from the War of the Worlds. They were to inhabit or they wouldn't die immediately. They could actually possess human bodies, but it would cause the human bodies start to decay. But it was done really, really good, especially for its time.
It was a good show. I haven't watched it since it was on in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't know, like at the first of the season 1 first episode, they killed off one of my favorite characters of the good guys. It's like shit. Well, it's like Dark Matter when they killed off one at the first of season 2.
Yeah, Lace is saying there's a new one I looked at, and there's one in 2019 also.
Yeah, there's a new War of the Worlds which I haven't watched yet. Which I think has gotten 2 or 3 seasons at this point.
Yeah, I think it started in 2019 or something like that one.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? Like they figure out how to not die from the cold or whatever from getting sneezed on?
I don't remember, honestly.
I mean, are the series like leading up to them figuring out that they can just sneeze on them, or is it like something else happened and they continued on after?
Well, the 2019 one, I never watched. The original one is like they just possessed human bodies, but they would still. It was not just the cold; they would actually they would break down and decay.
Oh, I see. They were perishable at a time.
And the new aliens introduced in season 2 didn't have that problem. When they took over a body, they can just completely took it over.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a long time, but I remember liking it. I remember what was the main military guy's name? Forget his name. He was cool. He reminded me of.
That's the guy they killed off at the first of season 2. It was like.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
He reminded me of Michael Ironside's character in V.
Right.
And I don't know. I like that was my favorite character in V when I was a kid. Was Michael Ironside's mercenary character who was just like the badass. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to move on to a couple other things. We're gonna talk about toys for a minute. Okay. So we got some. Is that your solar? Let me see your solar. Let me see. I got to blow this up. There we go. Nice. Can you make me one?
That's cool.
I can. Yeah.
I
need another Corsairs and a Vulcan, but
I want Valiant figures. I really was a big fan of Valiant comics back then.
A lot of people was really responding to this one too on Instagram.
Yeah, that's awesome. That dude is awesome.
It's a very easy. You got the right parts. It's very easy custom. It's the butterfly joints are Corsair. The shoulders are Corsair. The lower part of the boots are Corsair. Can't remember. I swapped out the feet, which you could use the Corsair feet, but I like these these smaller pointy feet. Corsair hands, Cyclops head, and the rest of the body is Vulcan.
It's awesome, man. I would love to have the 3 I want the most is I want a Solar, a Rye, and a Magnus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd love to have a Soul Man-O-War, but like that, I can't imagine how hard that would be to make.
The
I feel like he's a difficult character. That's like you'd have to re-sculpt an entire figure to make Exo.
it's because his suit's got all like muscle strands and
that would be an incredibly hard figure to make.
All the gold key characters I want to make. I want to make Magnus and Torok, and I made Solar. Those are all characters that's non-Valiant characters. So those are all gold key now. I forget what company bought it. It currently owns the characters now.
I'd love to see some Valiant characters. I'd love to have some Valiant characters. So love to have the hardcore and and like.
If you see another Corsairs, grab one and I'll fix you one up.
Okay, I can do that.
The targets are been clearance them out.
I can absolutely do that.
My target didn't ever get them.
That's my Corsair in the. I don't know if you got. Did you see the thumbnail? No, that's not Corsair. Sorry, that was Vulcan.
Yeah.
Vulcan in the thumbnail. Sorry, not Corsair. But
I was going to say I thought that was Vulcan.
Yeah, it's Vulcan. But no, I picked up some. I didn't pick up anything. I ordered some stuff that I got in, and then I also got some stuff. Is Corey still here?
I'm here.
He's here. I got to show you guys what Corey sent me. So Corey sent me some stuff. First off, he sent me a. I don't have my light on. So let me turn my light on here. Oh, that's too bright. Sorry, usually don't have that.
You expect a higher level of production.
Jesus. So Corey sent me a Vampire Superman.
Nice.
Which is awesome. As you guys know, I'm not really doing too much McFarlane anymore, but Superman, yeah, I still.
How does that happen? How kind of zombie can bite Superman?
I don't know. It's a vampire, not a zombie.
Oh, I mean, how kind of vampire?
Well, yeah. Retail for that thing was like $55, but I got it on clearance for $12.50.
Yeah, he's been blowing out everywhere. I mean, I get why I wanted him. I'm a huge Superman fan. I don't know why he's been blown out. I do like the fact that he's not on the Bizarro body, which is great. but anyway, so Corey sent
I think it's the Page Puncher's body, isn't
it? Maybe.
When you guys talk about these bodies,
comparison when I take them out of the package, I'm not sure.
When you talk about these bodies, like how many bodies are there? Is there like 12 or is there dozens and dozens?
There's 3 Superman bodies.
Yeah.
No, I mean all together. Like they're not reusing bodies all the time. It's just you're noticing when certain bodies are reused.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like there's 12 bodies.
With Superman, he uses 3 bodies. That's it. Batman
it's a new one every time.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. But and then Corey sent me RoboCop.
Oh shit! That's not metal?
Oh, with Vampire Superman in DC Comics, vampires are considered supernatural, and Superman has a vulnerability to magic.
That's true. He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Before the Doomsday storyline, he got turned into a vampire.
Yeah. Can y'all see how good that Murphy head is? I don't know if you guys can.
Yeah, that's a badass fucking.
That Murphy head
RoboCop.
is awesome.
Yep.
So
I will be displaying that one with the Murphy head.
Oh yeah.
When I think of Murphy head, that's what I think of.
Yeah, I can. It's a little bit small, a Murphy head, but it's.
Then I picked up this dude right here, and Jared, maybe you can help me with this, with part of it, not the figure, but I got this one on eBay for $13.
Oh, Magog,
whatever. Yeah. $13, free shipping, in an auction. That's I fucking eBay snipes how I get these things.
Yeah,
and cool figure, but I don't know what Build-A-Figure piece this is. I have no idea.
Oh, cool.
Stripe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How often do they do packaging like that? That's kind of cool.
What do you mean?
There's no card. You can see both sides. Oh,
yeah, no. The back is missing. That's why I got it cheap. Oh. Well, nobody was bidding on it because it didn't have the backing on it.
But you're about to open it anyway, so you don't care, right?
Yeah, I'm going to open it anyways.
Before they rebooted the DC universe, Magog was part of the Justice League Society, and he used machine guns. He used guns, and so I cut his trigger finger loose on one of his hands and gave him a rifle.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like the main universe version of the Alex Ross storyline, Kingdom Come, where one of the big villains from that's was Magog, and that's a different version. This is a good guy version.
Also got me a booster.
Nice. It's a modern version.
From the same dude. He apparently had a bunch of damaged boxes, so he was selling them. This one I got for $12.
No way.
Damn.
$12.
How much is that originally?
Do what?
What was that what would that be normally?
He usually sells for like $35 and up. So
you can rip that dude's arms off and his legs off and shit and interchange them with other dudes.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
But I picked him up. And again, this is another one. I don't know what Build-A-Figure leg that goes to.
Atom Smasher.
Atom Smasher, okay. Nice.
Another Justice Society character.
What do you got to get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get?
Yeah, you got to get several of them. Then this dude I got for $16. I did have to pay like $5 or $6 shipping on him, but
nice.
Sealed in the package. Modern costume.
And metallic finish too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I eBay sniped him too.
You're still opening it though?
Fuck yeah, I'm opening that motherfucker. I open all my shit. And then this one, which I'm very proud of, and Jared, I was telling you about this one. I got this for $35 free shipping.
Oh, nice.
For the Cyborg Superman Mongol 2-pack. And the dude was asking 40 or 45. I don't remember. But it had been up for like 26 days. And so I offered him 30. I think I offered him 30 first. And then he came back with 35. And I was like, okay.
Cool.
So
that Cyborg Superman usually sells for that.
I know. The Cyborg Superman is like $35 and up for him. And I got the 2-pack for 35.
There's a leg or an arm or something in there too?
No, it's just a 2-pack.
There's no Build-A-Figure.
No Build-A-Figure on that.
There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there.
Well, Mattel called it Collect and Connect instead of Build-A-Figure, but it's Build-A-Figure.
Those were different brands.
So that's my haul. Like this came in the mail yesterday. Those other 3 came in the mail today, and then the stuff Corey sent me came in the mail yesterday. So this is all from the last couple days. So
you're not afraid of pissing off your local pusher by showing all that stuff off that you get through the internet?
No, because I bought stuff from him last week. So
I got this big boy finished up.
That dude looks so awesome.
Who was that? Woolly Mammoth fan?
That's one of my original characters I made up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
How do you get the arms like that? Is that from a critter?
The base figure is a character called Ursa Major, which is a bear. But these are different. I had to splice 2 different style forearms together from a Sasquatch character to get the bigger arms. The lower body is from the Hulk. Sculpted on the fur on the bottom, the Hulk's legs. The feet are from the Rhino. I sculpted the fur on those. Made the belt. And the head is from a friend, Custom Cannon. And he modeled that head for me. He's actually going to send me one slightly bigger. So I get looking at it, it's like, wouldn't mind it to be a little bit bigger for the head. But on intents and purposes, it's done. I'll just paint up the extra head later on. But
awesome.
He's a beast.
Literally.
Yeah. I love how it turned out. Don got the capes fixed up for this one.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah, and he's got the.
Is that the modern one or the that's the modern one, right?
Yeah, it's modern. It's This is a 7-inch figure, and this other one's almost 9 inches tall.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
And he's also made me a couple swords for this too. He had some trial error to like the printing swords. If he tries to lay them flat on the printing surface, the support structures creates a serrated edge on the edge of the blade and messes them up. So he's got to print the swords vertically, which causes them to print for 10 hours.
Oh shit!
The big swords, he said, the sword he modeled the other night, he said they'll take 13 hours to print it vertically.
3D print?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff I have to 3D print takes a couple days.
Yeah. Well, he printed these motorcycles for Ghost Rider bikes. I don't have the tires on it right now. Each bike takes a week.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is Quinn still out there?
You can tell him to just send those files to Night Strike. He'll print them and then ship them for free right back once he's done printing.
Yeah, don't listen to G-Webs.
Oh, he's not sharing his files. He put too much work on those files. People's like, so I'll pay you for the files. Yeah, and then end up on like some kind of service you selling the files. No.
Yeah. Is Quinn still out there? So I'm ordering 2 of those bikes, and I told Quinn I would give him one. So Quinn's going to get one of those bikes when I get him.
Quinn said you could do the show from the live stream from the shop at one point.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah. Way back on time said, yeah.
What happened with the heat? This back cavity for the rear swing arm got a little distorted. That's what I had to like file this out a little bit more than normal. When he does the video lecture, like how to assemble it, he just pushes it in there and it's no problem.
Yeah.
But where it got distorted with the heat, I had to do a lot of filing to get it to fit just right. But now it fits really good. It's not bad. Just a little tedious to get it cleaned up, but still worth the effort to have a badass Ghost Rider bike.
Yep. Oh, I can't wait to get it.
100%.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
I can't wait to get it.
I'm very, very excited to get those in.
Hell yeah.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. It is time to say farewell, adieu, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. We will do this again next week. And actually on next Friday, we're going to be doing a show on Collector Express, Jared's channel. We'll be doing a geek show.
And if you want to simulcast to your channel, it's cool too.
Okay. Well, we can do it. Well, then we'll simulcast to both channels at the same time. So we'll be doing that one next Friday. What time are you doing it Friday?
8 p.m. Eastern and yours 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. my time. Okay. Yeah, because my show on my other channel, I don't go live till 9.
So I guess it gives us plenty of time. So
yeah. So so we'll be doing that next week.
Chats.
So I guess it'll be on both channels.
Super chats on the screen before.
What?
You're talking about you reading the super chats. You put the super chats on the screen as they came in. I don't know if
I put if they're not related to Geek Night, I'm not mentioning them since this.
Yeah, you just didn't stop the conversation. Is all.
Yeah, because this is my Geek channel. So if it's not Geek related, I'm not putting it up on the screen, or I'm not conversing about it.
But he did see them. He did put them on the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, but yes, that is it for this evening. We will see you guys next week for more Week in Geek. Then of course I'll be on the NEA channel the rest of the week as usual for most of you out there who come over here from that channel. So that will do it for today. We will see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, I guess. Let's see. Ghost Shell's like, read my last 2 super chat. I did read your super chats. I read your super chats. He only dropped in one. He was talking about the leaving the galaxy in the perpendicular whatever plane or some shit or whatever. So, but anyway, that's it. We're gonna get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. We will see you for more geek goodness in a week. Same Matt time, same Matt channel, and that pretty much will do it. So we'll see you guys next time. And deuces, yo. We're gonna get out of here.
Shut up, me.